The Leaving Today podcast, the show about the news, history, and attractions of the Disneyland Resort.
Well, come on, Wendy. Let's go.
But where are we going?
To Neverland.
Neverland.
Hello, and hello. Welcome to the Leaving Today podcast, episode number 164. If you can believe it, you know I cannot believe it. I always say that, but thank you so much. Here we are. My name is Mark, one of the co-hosts here of the Leaving Today podcast. Sitting to the left of me this afternoon is the Trollmaster of Puppets himself, Udi.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Now, today, Jess is working. She wants to be here in spirit. I always say that, but it is the truth. But filling in for her, well, they were going to come in anyways, but and we're very grateful they're here in the LTP Loft, a new location. We have, as we were talking, we have the LTP Hideaway, LTP Lounge, and the Loft. But no more ados. It is Aaron and Karina. What is up?
Ahoy.
Hello.
Hello. Don't be shy. The microphone is right there. Okay, so for some of you guys, listeners, folks out there, you're trying to if you stumbled across this podcast and you're thinking, hey, you know what? I like to talk about Disneyland. I like to talk about the parks. I like to talk about DCA. Sometimes I like to talk about the animation, the whatever, the merchandise. And I've got thoughts and complaints and all kinds of stuff. Well, you know what? You've come to the right place because this conversation, this podcast is exactly the same thing you'd be hearing if we were around Trader Joe's. Sorry, Trader Sam's. Or Trader Joe's.
Even though I don't go there, but hey.
Yeah, if you want to go to Trader Joe's, that's cool, but definitely at Trader Sam's. So this is that podcast. We are an honest podcast about Disneyland Park. And welcome. We think you'll find the water to be warm. Today's show is sponsored by you guys, the listeners, through Patreon. We make that super simple for you. Go to leavingtodaypodcast.com, click on the Patreon logo, and it's the $1, $3, or $5. And for that, you get to be on the show, and you get a T-shirt. And we have a few Patreon people that need to come on the show. So, Laura, I'm talking to you all the way from Hawaii. You just got back from a trip. I know that. And you will be on the show to talk about your experience. And since you are a Patreon supporter, you get to be on the show. And Jennifer, as well. You've been avoiding us like the plague for the last 3-4 years. Please come on the show. Yes. Okay. For that, today we're going to talk to Aaron and Karina about their recent trip to the park, or to the parks, I should say. I assume they went to both. Mm-hmm. And then get their overall feelings about the company and the parks in general. And before that, what?
And?
Udi, go ahead.
No, and then Aaron happened to be the winner of our giveaway.
Yes.
For the sign from Jason at Interactive Realm.
Yes.
So we have it here, and at the end... Yeah. We'll be handing it over.
We'll be handing it over.
Yep.
And we will do our best to describe it as well as a podcast can.
Yep. Or in audio format.
For now.
Yeah.
For now.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll have the news before that, and who knows what will show up for that. So we had an opening question. Aaron has 2 questions, I guess. Well, wait a minute. The live show, we had our friend Josh talk about, he wants to know what our favorite condiments are in general. Udi, okay, I think for general consensus, we said Chick-fil-A sauce. This has nothing to do with Disneyland, but it's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
Mustard and ketchup. Okay, next
barbecue.
Question. Barbecue, sure.
Kinder's barbecue sauce.
What'd you say? Oh, Kinder's?
Kinder's, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's good stuff. Absolutely. Okay.
At the park, do you have one?
Oh, at the park, do I have? Well,
I don't think they really have anything.
They have barbecue sauce.
Does the red enchilada sauce at Rancho qualify?
That's not a condiment, but is tahini a condiment?
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Okay.
I would call it a condiment.
Karina puts mayonnaise on her corn dogs.
Oh yeah, we should have a
Which is
discussion about what people put on their corn dogs.
On your corn dog.
There's nothing that counts for
Absolutely.
weirdness.
If it to me, that's the only way to eat it. I love the corn dogs from. I think we talked about this before, way back when we were on. When I go to Disneyland, I don't go to the corn dog cart. I don't like those ones as much as the ones that are around the corner in Frontierland.
Yeah, it's stage door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess what they do is they actually fry it with everything else, so it's not like completely separate. Like the corn dog cart has its own like separate.
Yeah.
But I get the corn dog there, and I use the mayo that they have there, and I just dip it. I think it's delicious.
You know
no ketchup, no mustard, anything else, just mayo.
As I think about it, kind of sounds like it would work.
It's so good.
Yeah, but I'm telling you right
thinking
now,
about it.
So good.
I'm telling you right now, Marcy would be upset with both you two if we were suggesting that. I'm telling you right now.
Right.
Because she has said as much. Because I've tried to bring that up, and she goes, no, absolutely not.
It's good.
No. Okay, so so condiments are great. That's okay. Aaron wants to know your favorite bathroom and favorite place that people watch. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, what if your favorite place to watch people is in the bathroom?
You're a weirdo and going to jail.
Okay.
Okay.
Which reminds me, we need to do the Anaheim crime report soon.
Oh, you do? You've been lacking, man.
I know. Well, it's all the same stuff.
You know, like petty larceny, somebody's on drugs and somebody wants to break into somewhere and steal. That's what it breaks down to. Mostly a lot of drugs, I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We haven't had a good voyeurism complaint.
Oh, thank God. Weirdo.
Yeah. Not me. I'm just reporting
No,
news.
I'm saying whoever does that is a weirdo.
Yes. Okay. This has gone off the rails. People are going, you know what? I want to listen to Disneyland stuff. What are these fools talking about? Okay, let's go. Aaron and Karina, you lead off the charge. Favorite bathroom?
The one by Rancho.
The one that's hidden in that secret passageway?
In that hallway.
Yes.
That's mine.
That is the best one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hardly ever. Well, for the guy, for the man, the only one who's usually a shorter line would be the one behind, the one in New Orleans Square.
Oh, by the train station.
Yeah, but a lot of people are figuring that one out because I think they go get their mint jolt like, hey, there's a bathroom right here. Like, oh, you finally figured it out.
Yeah.
So that one is still tucked away because a lot of people don't.
And you keep
Make
talking
another.
about it.
The worst one is
it's my fault.
Adventureland.
What's that?
One right there at Adventureland, right at the entrance.
Yes.
Across the
Oh,
bridge,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the worst one.
But it competes with the first one on Main Street that's over to the left. Do you know what I'm talking about?
To
It's
the
like-
right.
But there's one to the left, like to the left. When you go in, how far is it in? It's over to the
The
left. Remember
one
the
by,
tables are there, and it's like
What's
between the
that
two
restaurant
shops.
right
Oh,
there
yeah,
on
yeah,
Main
yeah,
Street
yeah.
on the left?
Oh, no. I thought you suggested you go into the park.
Well, as you go into Disneyland,
Yes.
and you're going down Main Street, right?
Uh-huh.
And then you have the shops on either side, and
Yeah.
then you have like Starbucks across the street on the right, and then on the left.
Yeah, that's Carnation
There's
Cafe.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Those bathrooms
There's
are
a
bad, too.
bathroom back
Yes.
behind there, right? That one I would say is the worst one because it is the smell. I am telling you,
Does it smell
when
like
it's
corn dogs?
not,
Oh.
No, really.
it gets really gross, and it has happened several times when I've been there. And you're desperate usually when they're like coming down Main Street, right? Because there's so many people,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, we just gotta go. And then like you're running in there even with the little kids, and it's like the smell is so bad. I don't know if it's the way that it's structured and like it's like cooped up in that one little space or something,
Yeah,
but
probably.
it's so bad. I've had bad experiences with that particular bathroom.
Okay,
not
that's
great.
good to know.
Adventureland's just crowded.
Or the
There's
ones
just so
outside
much.
the park are good too. The ones
Those
by
I
the
would say were
lockers.
my favorite bathrooms.
like when you're going towards downtown Disney
but I don't know if that
on the
counts.
right, there's like lockers and there's two bathrooms over there.
Oh,
that are
yeah, yeah.
always empty.
By
I've
where
seen
the
those.
secret tables are.
Yes.
Yeah, that
The
little
picnic
like
area.
alcove that people don't know about.
Yeah.
But those bathrooms are probably my favorite too because no one uses them. So
Yeah,
if you
a
need
lot of people-
like privacy.
You know, that's interesting because when I was a kid, that picnic area was much more utilized.
Yeah.
I'm not
You know-
surprised.
you know?
Oh no, we would use it as a family. I mean, I remember my dad would bring the cooler over
Yes.
and we'd like make sandwiches.
Yeah.
Like, or if he
Absolutely.
didn't want to, we'd do it in a van because we were old school. We had that big van with double doors and
Yeah.
captain's chairs and the whole thing, But yeah, we would use that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the bathroom by Carnation Cafe is new.
Yeah. oof.
Okay, let me see. For me, the one I like, I think that's the one that's interesting is the one in Fantasyland, right next to Alice. That
Is
one.
that the one with the rabbit outside?
Yes.
Where people
Yeah.
stick the notes
yeah,
back behind?
yeah.
I was going to say that's one of my favorite ones too. Only because it's more open, like
Mm-hmm.
there's more space, and I've never had a problem getting into a stall over there.
Okay.
And it's pretty clean. I've never
It's
had
pretty
like the stink smell.
No, the stink smell. There's trying to think another one. The one that's right in the entrance to the right. No one ever goes there.
Oh,
Yeah.
By the Chase ATMs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or over by Toontown.
Which ones were those ones?
Like the Toontown entrance is that way, and if you go straight, it's the
Oh, you
That
used
show
that one
right there.
last time you were there.
Oh,
That's
by the theater, by the
Yeah,
next
the
end?
theater. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
that one's
Yeah.
always empty too.
Until they
Because no
opened
one goes
Toontown
over
again.
there. Yeah, well, the last time we were there, no one was over there because Toontown is closed.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. Well, that's a good topic. You know, I always seem to use the one right outside of Space Mountain as you're just getting off Space Mountain, and is right you.
Oh,
Yep,
that's a bad one,
it's
too.
Convenient.
It's
though.
convenient, but
Convenient, but there's
convenient.
always
people.
That corridor is full of people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
is.
is.
Yeah, because it's right next to where you can look at your pictures. You turn right or left, and right there.
Left. Yep.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking there's got to be like another one that I'm missing, but I'll think about it later. Okay. Udi, where's your favorite? You say
He took mine.
what was that?
Socolos.
Rancho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rancho.
Oh, Rancho. Okay.
In the hallway.
Rancho.
How are the bathrooms at Galaxy's Edge treating you?
They're actually not bad either.
Good, yeah.
Nobody's
They're
ever there.
cool.
I forget.
The
Those
sinks
ones
and
are
everything
super
are cool too.
Yeah, and they're wide open and they're big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can say in terms of theming,
Mm-hmm.
the
They are-
Galaxy's
yeah, they're
Edge
the best.
bathrooms
Are the best.
awesome.
Yep.
With like the trough,
Yep.
like I don't know, I'm really into that stuff. Like it takes you into the experience
Oh,
of
yeah,
it, even
yeah.
if it's you're in the potty. Like I don't know.
No, I agree.
Is that the one that's in the bazaar, right?
There's two of them.
Where's the other one?
The ones on your. So if you're coming in from Fantasyland, you hang and you go through.
Which we don't recommend.
No, we don't recommend. No, for your first time in, you never go in that way.
Yes.
Reminder.
Yeah.
PSA. If you're ever going to go to first time going to Galaxy's Edge, Critter Country entrance only. Mm-hmm. If you don't, you messed up. But
messed
anyway,
up.
yeah, that one is.
Yeah.
On the side of like if you go into, there's a little courtyard areas on the right. It would
Yep.
be going in that direction from the Droid Depot.
Yes.
Over.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I ran into, you guys probably don't know who Adam the Woo is. You guys know who that guy is?
It sounds familiar. Isn't he a YouTuber?
He is,
Yeah.
yes. He happened to be in that men's bathroom washing his hands as I was there. I'm like, dude, what's up? It's
Don't.
Adam the Woo.
Were you a weirdo? No.
No,
No, you're pretty polite.
I'm totally polite. But no, I did not get a picture because it was kind of awkward to get a picture of the dude in the bathroom.
You think?
But, yeah. But
Yeah.
I could have waited till outside. Now that I think about it. If I run into him again, I'll do that. Anyways, okay. Favorite place to people watch? Where do you want to look at people and make fun of them? I know.
No, we don't do that.
Okay. I already know where Udi does. I know his favorite.
I do that everywhere.
Ooh, wait a minute.
No. You know, yeah, we're mine.
Hold on,
yeah,
hold
it's
on.
easy.
Favorite DCA bathroom? Do we have one? Because I'm not sure that I do. I can't say with.
I feel like I need a
with-
map to see.
I can't say
Honestly,
with,
no, I don't have
The
one.
bathroom one.
I can't say
I do
with
not have one.
precision which one is my favorite. I mean,
No.
I don't have one.
The one at the end of the long run of Hollywood, you go to the left. There's one there. That one's usually okay. Where they would have they had the shield there. It's over a little bit to the left, like kind of to the right of
Over by
Monsters Inc. Yeah,
I've never been in
a good
that
one.
one.
yeah, that's fine.
The ones over across from Soaring are good too, but
Oh, yes.
those are usually pretty packed.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
there's not a lot of space in those ones.
No.
Doesn't Adventures Campus have one?
Yeah,
yes, they do.
probably.
Yep,
I
they
feel
do.
like I was
Out-
in those the last
Isn't
time
it
and they were
behind
nice.
like where Doctor Strange comes out?
Probably,
I think it's the same bathroom that was in A Bug's Land, right?
probably. I don't think they would
That
have.
was a good bathroom.
Yeah, that's classic bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, shoot. I can't really say which one I favor or not favor.
Oh, you know one I don't like is the one over by the roller coaster, the Incredicoaster. There's
oh yeah,
one
no,
that's
that one's always
Yep.
back too.
back by the.
Kinda goes- you have to go
yes, it
down a
goes
little bit.
around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Those ones are terrible. Don't ever go to
Yep.
those ones. Like just skip them altogether. Run.
I'm trying to.
Run away.
Run
They're
away.
crowded.
Yeah.
There's so many people there. If you want any sort of privacy at all, like you're not going to get any. It's just too busy. And again, I think that one also can get smelly.
Smelly. Okay, well, that's not good.
Yeah, that's like. I mean, we'll talk more about like our trip and stuff. But
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, no. Well, the strange first world problems and a slight flex is
Flex.
the
'Cause we're
second to
cool now.
last time we went to Disneyland this past summer. We got to go into the hidden room in
I
lamplight.
forgot. We didn't.
Oh, did
So if
you?
you have to go to the bathroom there, you have to go upstairs to the normal bathroom with
they
the
don't have
normal
a
people.
separate bathroom.
Oh.
So it's kind of unfortunate, but yeah.
Yeah. Didn't we use the bathroom at Lamplight? Remember the guy said that, and we went downstairs.
Yep.
Because we didn't have reservations, but Udi and I were going, well, can we just look at it? He said, yeah, just go in like downstairs and act like you're going to go to the bathroom, which is what we did.
Yep.
I didn't think anything special about
Nope.
that.
I have pictures. Not of the bathroom,
Oh,
but of the area around. But yeah.
Okay, and I'm trying to think of the bathroom in Cars Land. Is it over by Flo's?
Yeah. No, it's right before Flo's when you're
No, it's
walking
Flo's
down.
Cafe. It's by Flo's Cafe. It's like
Is it?
attached to it,
Yeah,
basically, on the
it's
other
like
side
right
of the
on the
building.
other side of the
We've used
Hudson
that one
Hornets
a
Memorial
lot,
thing.
actually. But we
Yeah.
spend a lot of time in Cars Land usually because it's one of our favorite places.
Oh, absolutely.
But I can say, even though there's a lot of people going through there, I don't think I've ever had to wait.
There is another
get
one
up,
right
go to the
between
bathroom
Cars
there.
Land and the Wharf too. That's a good one.
The Cars Land one
It's
too.
by the Chinese
Yeah.
food restaurant right
Oh,
there.
Lucky Fortune.
It's kind of
or
tucked
what is it?
away.
Oh yeah, it's over. I know where it's at. It's like the Ghirardelli.
Uh-huh.
And then they have all the tables over here, right? Like as
Yeah.
you're walking through that area,
okay.
it's over to the left. That one's a good one too, because I think people don't realize there's a bathroom over there.
Yeah, I've never used that one. But I'll make a note of that. Noted.
Mental note.
Mental
Yeah.
note. Okay, now people watching. Would you guys like to do that?
Main Street.
Yep.
Let's say what 3:00.
Oh,
The
you're
park.
very, very specific.
Ooh.
Well, it's because that's when you see all the families with children. The kids are
They're
kicking and screaming because they
tired.
need a nap, and they're going back to the hotel room to take naps. And we are those people most times.
I'm trying to think of where.
I already know Udi's spot.
Where?
Dude, it's the porch on Main Street. We've done that.
That's a good one.
That's a great spot to
Yep.
do that.
My favorite.
Let me see. One of my favorites. People watch just to get the actual vibe of the park. I love going on Main Street to the train station and sitting down, looking all the way down to the castle, and just sitting there and observing what people are doing and kind of seeing their smiles on their face.
Oh, I have a good one.
Oh, okay, yes.
Now that I think,
Okay.
I thought Castle, Fantasyland. Now, not a lot of people like to go into Fantasyland in general because it's very crowded.
It's
So I
just jazz, basically. Oh.
I totally
Yeah.
understand. We have small children, and they actually care about most of those small rides nowadays.
Oh,
Like,
I do
but
too.
I like some of. Well, I mean, like all of them. Like
Oh.
they would just stay in that land because
Except for Mr. Toad.
they can ride everything, and except for
Yeah.
Mr. Toad. Well, I just don't like Mr. Toad, so I don't take him on.
Oh,
that.
there's
I'm like against Mr. Toad. But so if you just go in there and you find there's like tables over by the Red Rose Tavern. And you just sit and that's the easy way to like get out of the crowds and everything, right? Like get a cool drink or whatever, sit down.
I mean, outdoors or
and just-
indoors?
Outdoors, and just watch. That's the best people watch, because if you're gonna see any sort of meltdowns, freakouts, the chaotic, like wasn't there when we went on our trip recently?
Yeah,
there was
the-
like a lady that was trying to cut in line, and then the cast member for Alice.
Yeah.
She
was yelling at the cast members.
She yelled at the cast members. Like, I think someone actually got it on video and put it up
Yeah.
on social media. It was such a big deal. 'Cause she's like, you need to let me in. And he's like, sorry, ma'am, you need to go to the end of the line. Like, I don't know if she assumed that I think it was like the exit was the entrance or something,
can't
but
remember.
he was trying to redirect her. It was a mess. But those are the times I can think of when people are the craziest, is usually in Fantasyland, because a lot of them have small children. It's really crowded.
Yeah.
Or like there's adults that like walk through there and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know what I'm getting into when I walk through here to get to the next land.
Yeah.
So that's a good one, is that spot over by the Red Rose Tavern. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's good to know. For sure.
What about yours, Mark?
Oh, I said my favorite, I think, is going on top of the train station on Main Street.
Yeah, but you don't have another one? That's it?
Oh, I mean, I like going to the hub if I can get a bench, and just so I can see people. If I get one of the benches where I can face Frontierland and Adventureland, I can see folks coming out of both those lands and seeing what they're doing and seeing if there's any interesting food they have. And I go, where'd you guys get that? So it's that kind of stuff I like, and I can see people coming out of Tomorrowland, and Tomorrowland too. So that's where I like to. I'm trying to. I know there was somewhere else though that I really enjoyed. Probably somewhere in New Orleans Square. Oh no, I'm thinking. I love going to Tropical Hideaway and watching people, because that's just a great vibe there.
That's just my favorite place. One of my favorite places is in Disneyland now.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, you tell me why for you.
So I don't think you like the bows, do you?
No, I do like them okay. They're okay. I usually go for the Dole Whips because I'm not a pineapple person, so I like to get the other flavors, like the
Ooh.
watermelon, or I'll do like the mixed ones.
Do they have watermelon?
They have watermelon.
I just knew they had raspberry.
They have water. The last time we were there's a watermelon one. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was really, really
I want
good.
that.
But you can get little snacks. There was always tables available. It wasn't like completely packed.
I feel like that place is usually
People-
fairly empty.
Fairly
depending on
empty.
what
So
time
if
of day
you
it
want
is.
a break, and then you have like just the ambiance. I love it at night when they have all the lights and things out, and it's so nice because you can hear the skippers, right? Like going on the Jungle Cruise. Oh my gosh, we spent like a good couple hours. I feel like sitting there.
Yeah, because you
like,
guys were
back
waiting
and
for us to ride
Yeah.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, so it's like I would say that probably is one of my top 3 places in Disneyland to be.
Oh, well, that's good to know. That's a very big reveal from you. Okay, no, I absolutely echo that. I just like being there any time of the day, but I think night's a little nicer. And those bao buns, I've only had one of the flavors. I would think it was the beef, but there's a vegetable one or a chicken or something.
There's chicken and vegetable.
I've not had those, but I do want to try.
They're
that.
good.
Oh, you've had those?
They're all good, yeah.
Okay.
The lumpia is good too.
I have not had their lumpia.
Good.
But I feel like I've had authentic Filipino like lumpia from
Well, because it's
authentic
theirs
real
is a
Filipinos, and it's
dessert
like,
one.
ugh.
There's a dessert one. Though,
Yeah.
So
There's
pineapple
a-
and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, you had that.
Yeah.
didn't you? Okay, I have it. But then, so then what about DCA? Because,
People watching.
yeah, people watching.
I don't.
Oh,
I'll make it a rule. I
Why is
don't.
it so hard?
No, I honestly, for me,
Yeah.
the thing is like with DCA, you're there to do a few things and you're out.
Well, I think on Mark's vibes here with people watching for you, it seems more like checking people's vibes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think Avengers Campus would be good because
The Sanctorum.
with our children, like Spider-Man comes out and it's like, oh my God,
So
it's Spider-Man.
cool.
And you
Oh
get
yeah, I
kids
like
light
chalked
and
it up
everything like
when they were
that,
doing
and,
the Spider. There was a Spider-Man show, right? Like where
Spider-Man
Spider-Man's
show,
up
yeah.
top and he
and then he comes down.
and he comes down and things. There was a gentleman there, and I at first I was mistaken because I was like, "Are you a cast member?" The way that he was talking to me, like,
yeah.
because I was just trying to figure out the show, and I had the kids, and I'm like, I can't remember. I feel like Aaron wasn't there or something. Maybe he was off doing something else, and we came in like mid show, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to miss it because the kids are really into Spider-Man. And this gentleman came up, and he was like decked out in all the Disney pins and things, and he was like, don't worry, the next show comes on at this time, and then you can check out this, and then he was so friendly, and I was like, oh, I missed this because you don't get that many interactions anymore at Disneyland. But you could tell he was like probably like a long time
Yes.
Disneyland
Yes.
fan and like very good hearted man. I didn't catch his name, but he was so wonderful. Gave me all this information.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That needs to come back to the park.
It absolutely does.
Really does. Yeah.
But I'm thinking of anywhere in DCA that specifically I like to sit and watch people. I can't say that I have one. I can tell you the place I've probably sat the most by myself would be Grizzly River Run because I'm the one that usually doesn't want to go in.
Yeah.
So I'll hold everyone's stuff and just sit there. And I like being there in general, but I can't say that there's like, oh, we have to go here and watch people.
Yeah, I don't
There are
have.
too many
I
places to
legit
sit.
don't have one. I do not.
Yeah.
I don't. When I go to DC, I don't sit down long enough. Like I don't feel like I want to lounge there. Like maybe to get a beer or maybe something there. Okay,
But your beloved rum and Coke, do you just walk around with it or do you sit there?
depends. Like maybe I'll grab it and eat, and then I'll go. But I'm not there to like. I'm there to eat, not to. Like when we go to the park, when we go to Disneyland, we'll go to the porch like on purpose. Like we'll chill there.
Yeah.
We don't really have. I don't have a spot in DCA to just chill.
Well, maybe
I
we should
just
try to
don't
find
have
one.
I think there's a good
Why?
one. I think
There
there
are
is a
ones
good
across
one.
the way.
And it would be, I don't know if it's the time of day that we usually, it's over past Soren when you're making that way up to, what is
Is it-
that little play area where like the kids can like run
Redwood
around?
Creek
Yes,
Challenge.
the
Yeah.
Creek Challenge. There's tons and tons and tons of benches through there.
Yeah, that's where I'm usually sitting for a Grizzly
Yeah.
River run. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful through
at
there.
night, especially
Oh, yeah.
when the lights are dimmed
Yeah.
and there's actually not that many people that walk through that way. I think because people are more interested, they're like, oh, let's go to like Cars Land, Adventures Campus, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
Cars
people
Land
neglect
is a good
that.
one, though. Cars Land, nighttime,
Oh,
Flo's Cafe.
Flo's Cafe.
Cool place to chill.
That would be my second
Never done
one,
that.
too.
I've never chilled at Flo's Cafe.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that area is really good where the Redwood Creek Challenge trail thing is. And then also that's right, Flo's Cafe. So because that area over there kind of gets dead at night, like people are gonna go ride like Radiator Springs Racers or whatnot, but there's like an outside area when you walk all the way through Flo's Cafe and out that they have all the lights on, right? All the neons are on, and you can just sit and like have a snack. And I think we talked about this before. I get my like Ghirardelli chocolate milkshake, and I'll go over there. And sit
Oh,
over
okay.
there.
Okay.
It's really nice.
That sounds like an awesome time.
It's nice and quiet usually.
Is really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. You'd be surprised. Not a lot of people take that way either.
Okay. Yeah, I guess not. Wow. Well, I'll take a note of that and then check it out. I don't know. Well, yeah, maybe we should find. I know. He's like, why? Well, I don't know. Something to do. Something to do. Okay. Well, I guess that's gonna go through our opening questions. Yeah, unless you have something else to add. Anyone? Okay. Anyone? All right. Well, let's go to the news.
You listen to me now. You are talking about things that you do not understand.
Okay, well, here is the news for this week, maybe the last 2 weeks. So if this is old news to you folks, we're sorry, but we're just catching up with you. Disneyland has a new roller coaster called the Matterhorn. Oh, that's not new. What?
What?
I know. Can you believe it? We'll be going back to 1959. No. First item is Disney, and you guys can add whatever news you've heard that we haven't covered, or absolutely feel free to comment on whatever we're talking about. Disney reports major workforce rebound in 2022, but still falls short of pre-pandemic staffing. The Walt Disney Company reports growth in global employment throughout 2022, making a significant rebound in the size of its global workforce. In its annual report submitted to the Securities and Exchange at the SEC, Walt Disney reported approximately 220,000 cast members as of October 1st, 2022. That's a 16% increase from 2021, and 33,000 fewer employees than the pre-pandemic workforce levels. I'm not going to go on to that, but the question does remain, though. Has your park experience been impacted by a shortage of cast members? Let us know your thoughts, anyone. And I think you guys might have some insight as to that. And we can talk about that on your trip report, because I will bring that up about the cast member experience there. And well, I think this is a good news. And I think, like I said, 2020, it's a transition year for the park, for the company and the park specifically. We're not there yet.
No.
And I thought maybe mid-2023 is when we're going to start feeling how things are really going to get going. And I think there's going to be a lot more adjustments with Magic Keys, staffing. SoCal Pass just got reignited again, which is great. No, Udi? You don't care?
No.
Why not?
I don't live there.
I know, but it's good for those guys, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay. So that's good that they are getting back. And I do wonder, though, about with Iger, how he will treat the cast members, because that was one of the things I brought up, that was one of my hopes, that the cast members, beyond let's get new attractions, let's get this, well, let's make sure the cast members are taken care of first, and that they have jobs, and not just jobs, but like jobs with benefits, with jobs with growth and potential. Because, I mean, any company can go, yeah, I'm going to have a job, but is it a career? Those are things I look for. I mean, are people getting benefits and getting help out? And yes.
Well, my thought is going to go right away. Was it like that before?
I don't know. I have no idea. I would imagine. Well, I think if you're in California, you're a full-time employee. I mean, even if you are required to offer benefits, right?
Well, yeah, but my point is, I think they got around a lot of that with the loophole of making mostly part-time, but then always adding hours.
Yes.
That is a common trope that many corporations use.
Agree.
You know it.
Yes.
I know it.
Yes.
So I would hope that Iger would do that in more of the vein of we need to get the company moving in a positive direction. But sadly, in the corporation, they get rid of people. When they need to correct things, it's an easier thing to correct staffing than cost. Cost can be a fixed thing. I believe you me, I'm going through that exactly this week. You know that. Dealing with cost versus personnel.
Yeah.
What are the things you can control versus what are the things you can't control? So I don't know. I would hope, I'm with you with that. I'm hoping that he does go in there and like we need to make it better for them because they are the lifeblood of the park, no doubt.
Sure.
But I don't know if they're going to do it. I don't know if I have enough faith in him because a lot of the things that again, like I said last episode, I think, and the one before, is a lot of things that are not good in the park were kind of he laid the groundwork for. So I don't know. I hope, though. I mean, I'm always going to be on the side of the cast members. I think the cast members are very undervalued by a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they really do deserve better. So I don't know. I hope
They do. Yeah. I agree. Do you have anything to add on that?
I have heard that, at least when I was reading some of the things about Bob Iger coming back, is he did say that he's really interested in keeping good talent. I know that applies more at the high level of like making sure we have good actors and actresses and things like that through our productions. But I do think that he has a mindset more towards people, keeping good people, having like caring a little bit more on that side of things and understanding that like the footwork that they lay and the ground that they lay, where I think maybe Bob Chapek didn't. And he was much more like streaming focused, virtual focused, like, and I mean, that was a path that, you know, he wanted to follow, and the company was willing to do that to see how it went. And there's a lot of things that I would say didn't go so well with that, but
Probably.
I'm hoping that Bob Iger is understanding that, and I think that actually because of the pandemic and COVID and everything, people are more vocal about saying like, hey, we need to have livable wages. Hey, we need to have like good benefits. And I feel like he can't not listen to that. Like he can't ignore it. And I feel like I felt that a little bit at the park when we were there. And I mean, we could talk about it more with our trip report, but like there was obviously still a lot of shortage there. It's getting better because we had gone, I think, to California Adventure for like that little like, do you remember that? Like during the pandemic, they let us come back, but we couldn't actually like go on running rides. I can't remember what the event was called. Where just about every store was closed, right? Like everything was closed. There just wasn't enough staff.
You guys drove down for that?
We did. Oh. We did. We needed something. We needed to get out of the house too. It was like, ugh. But I think we've been there. So then we went in July, and then we went in October, June, end of June, and October of this year. And you could feel there's still a shortage, but it's getting better. It's definitely getting a lot better. But you can tell a little bit that the cast members are a little bit in terms of like customer interactions, like, you know, it was a little bit different than when it was pre-pandemic. And it's understandable.
Sure.
Like, I totally get it. And like they deserve so much. That's the thing. They work so hard, and it was just a different feeling, I think, than we had before COVID. So.
Well, yeah, you can't have the park without cast members.
You can't. You can't. That's
and
the
I feel
thing.
like if you think about it mathematically, an attraction there is maybe 2 minutes at most. Yeah. Not including
Rise.
Not including Rise, but even then, Rise, that kind of plays into what I was going to go into too. Is rides are, let's say, attractions are 2 minutes maybe. Then you're there at the parks for 8 hours. You go on how many rides? I don't know how many rides there are in Disneyland. Let's say 20 rides. That's 20 times 2. That's 40 minutes right there of an 8-hour day that you're at the parks. So most of that time you're interacting with your family, other park goers, and cast members. So if those experiences are bad, those 40 minutes you're on the ride could ruin that whole day basically. Like. And then Rise, the cast members on Rise, they're awesome, and that makes that ride basically.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So if you have crappy cast members, it could ruin a lot of people's trips. Basically.
I wouldn't say that the cast members were crappy. That's
I'm not
the
saying
thing.
they are. I'm saying if they don't have the wages, the benefits,
I think
to keep
that's
the
it.
good cast
I
members,
think that's
then
it.
you're gonna get Six Flags employees that are there to do a job. They're there to get a paycheck and then leave.
I
That's
think
it. I'm
part
not there
of
to
it-
make. They're not there to make magic. They're there to make money.
And I think part of it too is because there's such a shortage and people are still trying to make their way back into the workforce and figure out where they want to be, that puts a lot of pressure on those that are there, right? Like, so you have like, you know, you need 10 people, but you only have 5, and then you're stretching those 5 thin, and that was the feeling that I felt like I had when I was at the park. I feel like they're not hiring enough.
Yeah.
And so then the people that are there are feeling really overworked and overwhelmed. That's the impression that I got when I was there. And I was like, you know, we did our best to like help as much as we could with them. No, you know, but there was some interactions that I had, but I was like, whoa, like, I'm going to take a step back here and just keep in mind that like, you're probably really stressed out and whatever's going on. And I don't know what's going on in your own head, but there's no reason to like raise your voice. And like, and I'm not a person that like brings conflict. So, you know.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I want to hear the story now. But, okay.
Oh, well, I'm sure we'll get to that.
Yeah, but you know, and I guess for me, the way I always look at, the way I've always approached my life and working, when I walk into that situation, I don't know, I look at it like, okay, now I need to shine, and I hope more people. And that's the thing is like, I hope he comes in at the very least and says, we know you're being slammed, and we know you're going through a very difficult time, and we're trying to get people in, but if you take the opportunity of performing, there is a path for you, and there will be a reward for you. And I hope at the bare minimum, Iger is a great politician. I've said it before, and I will always believe it because he is. But I hope in that mind he does convey that, like, hey, I know, I see where you're at, I see how much you're going through. But for you guys to perform, I want to reward you guys. So whether it be like fast tracking you to get into a promotion or whatever a benefit could be from that, I hope he does that the bare minimum, because then he will really be able to take the people who want to excel and perform in that company and make it better. Those are the moments where those people kind of come up, because that's what they're there for. They're not there necessarily for a paycheck. They are there to make magic, and they come and they do that every day. So I hope he does it the bare minimum. And knowing how he is, I think he can look at it very pragmatically and go like, well, I need to make it better. And if I do that, it probably won't be that big of an idea for me, and it's a win-win, So I can see him doing at the bare minimum that. I hope he does at the bare minimum that. Because I don't know, I don't want to go off on a political jag, because the livable wage and all that kind of things, I always kind of look at that and go like, well, that's on you. It's not on the employer. That's on you to figure your life out. So I get that. I get what that means, but for me, I always look at it that way. I'm like, well, if you're not making enough money at this company, go find another job. So that's why I hope what he does is he takes the people who want to stay there and make it so that they can stay there. So,
sure.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yep.
It's crazy to think that all those people, like at the beginning of Disneyland and like the decades after Disneyland started, how a lot of those people who moved up the ranks started out as a skipper or a waiter at a restaurant. And
Yeah.
like you'll watch like the documentaries and stuff on Disney Plus, and it's like, oh, I started out as a waiter or a skipper, and now I'm a executive producer. It's like, holy crap, like that's crazy to think that
That's
you
awesome.
started that spot.
And you layer a company at that level and how big that is, that becomes, you think it'd be easier, but it actually becomes more difficult, which is weird to me. I'm like, how is as the company grows, that kind of mentality should be a simplicity, like, okay, there's all these openings now, and now people need to come up and move up, but it always feels like to me like the corporation gets more powerful. They want to control more. Then they clamp down on that. And I go, man, and then they do whatever they do. But, I mean, you hear story after story after story about, so many people have come up in that company. I mean, and look at Chapek. He's a good example right there. I mean, he didn't start up in the ground, but he worked his way up in the company for 20 years to be, till he got fired. But, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Well, next news item is the 2023 Lunar New Year celebration. DCA celebrates the Year of the Rabbit starting January 20th when Disney's 2023 Lunar New Year celebration kicks off. The resort will also commemorate the Year of the Cat in recognition of the Vietnamese zodiac calendar.
Vietnamese.
What did I say?
I don't know, but it wasn't Vietnamese.
Vietnamese? What am I saying? Am I saying it wrong?
Vietnamese?
That's how I have it written.
Vietnamese, and what are you saying?
Vietnamese. Vietnamese?
You almost have it, Mark.
Okay.
It's hard. It's a hard word.
Everyone's laughing. Okay. Yeah, okay, that. Anyways, the Year of the Cat's gonna be recognized.
It's a rare moment when you can't. When it's usually me who can't pronounce things right.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, this year's celebration includes the return of the popular Mulan's Lunar New Year procession. Yeah, super popular, as well as the World of Color pre-show.
I know. I can't wait for that.
I know. There's going to be special food and nonsense. No, sorry. There's going to be special food and what?
Nonsense. That's mean.
No, there's going to be special food and little trinkets you can get celebrating this.
Oh yeah, tchotchkes galore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that we need to expand upon that. If that's your jam, go for it. Okay, 2020. Did you guys have anything to add to that?
We've never gone during that time. Well,
It's never been something enticing.
yes.
I don't
because
think I really want to go to the
I
parks
think
for
we
New
kn-
Year's.
It's for Lunar New
doesn't-
Year, which
Lunar.
is what, like mid-January? Is that what it is?
January 20th.
Yeah.
January
Okay.
20th. So
We've been there. I've been there.
go.
I think we've been there. Didn't we go there?
When did Rise open? We were there. For
17th.
we were probably there.
Yeah, we're
oh,
probably
no,
there.
no, no. You stayed longer, right?
Oh, I did. I wanted
Yeah.
to stay an extra day.
Yeah, I
or
took.
two.
Yeah, I took off.
Oh yeah.
The
I
night.
was there. I was there for that. Yeah, because I remember seeing all the things come up, all the banners and everything. I'm like, hey, this just came up. Yeah.
Okay. 2023 Disney California Adventure Food and Wine Festival. That is a great experience. And
There
that
you go.
begins March 3rd. If you guys have never done that, have you guys done it?
We
have,
haven't.
I
Wait, have we done it at Disneyland?
No, in DCA we've been.
No, I know. I meant the resort.
We were just happened to be there when it was happening.
Yes,
We didn't go there specifically for it.
we went to the one in Disney World too, so it's kind of cool actually. I think because they do this one right, like in
Epcot,
Disneyland Resort, in like winter, spring, right, like earlier in the year, and then later in the year you go to Disney World, and then they have their food and wine
Yes,
festival. So
that
like
is correct.
you can always like. I mean, if you ever had the ability to be able to do both of them in 1 year,
Mm-hmm.
because I really enjoy the food and wine festivals. They're really, really good.
I totally agree. I've gone to them a couple times. I went to it last year as well. Happened to be going on while I was there with the girls, and we definitely got a lot of food, probably more than we needed. But
Calories don't count in Disneyland.
They don't count.
You know the rule.
but once that menu is released, you can be sure Udi will review it.
Yep.
And that's always a good time. I get a kick out of when Udi does that. I do. It's one of my favorite highlights of the year with those things when Udi just goes.
Yeah, I remember when we go back to the whole point of when the joke was how to make a food review because I didn't care.
Udi's foodie or something like that. I would
Yeah.
come up with something. Udi's foodie.
I got to go back now and I got to find that one.
We got to find that. But no, I enjoy that. So do go through that. It goes March 8th, I think, through April 25th. March 3rd through April 25th. So there you go. I don't know what the prices are for that. Probably you can buy the lanyard with tabs for, $70 or $60 or something. And if you're with a group of people, that's a pretty good deal, right? All right. Disneyland Resort bringing back 3-day Southern California residents ticket offer. For a limited time, SoCal residents get a 3-day, 1 park per day weekday ticket for as little as $73 per person per day. The special offer is available now for visits from January 9th through May 25th. The discounted ticket is only available on weekdays, and guests must have a park reservation. Udi, I see a response from you.
I hate the reservations. Why? Why? There is no reason to have that anymore. Go away.
What's the point of the reservation?
There is none. I know exactly. What's the point of it? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Anyway, every time I hear now with reservation, I'm like, it's a pain that you have to put that clause in there. I'm
Josh
like,
tomorrow loves it.
Well, why?
I don't know.
I want to hear why. And again, I think I always posit that
It's
it
probably
has to be for analytics. It's probably all for analytics. But
they can forecast like, okay, on January 3rd.
dude, what did they do before it?
They just had full staff.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they
They
cut
just had
people.
everyone show
They
up,
do what
yeah.
they always do. What restaurants do. They
Yeah.
have a full staff, and if they don't need them, you get cut. Go home. That's the way that goes. You pay them for the 4. Take a hike.
But
I mean,
even then,
oh.
I wasn't alive in 1955, as weird as it sounds.
What?
But wasn't Disney back then like it was just you go on a whim, you just go to the parks to go to the
It was
parks,
all the way
not-
up. It was like that way all the way until what 19.
They had date nights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You just
2000.
go to it. You
It
know?
was that way until 2020.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2020.
pretty
Yeah, that didn't come until So
Well, before.
Yeah, I mean, the only
Yeah.
reservation system that we
The-
needed was the Flex Pass that Udi and I had.
That's
It was
right. And we would
the
just
Max
say we're coming.
Pass thing that we had where it wasn't worth it at that point because we had it. It worked out the first year, right? Like the cheapest pass with the reservations.
Yeah, the AP
Flex
Flex
Pass.
Pass.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then
no.
and then the next year it was like we couldn't. I would wait at midnight. I would be like, I'm gonna get the reservation for this day, whatever was 60 days out or 90 days out, so that we can get because you had to plan a whole vacation because
Yeah.
it's expensive.
Yeah.
And you do it ahead of time, so you
Sure.
can take the time off.
Sure.
And then you get there, you get on, and you're like, I'm gonna reserve it, and then it's like poof. Gone. Reservations were gone. Each day, I was like,
Then
"Well,
you
what's
get
the
rid of
point?
reservations.
What's the point?"
I mean, I can honestly tell you, I never had that issue. Ever.
Yeah, no,
it was
we didn't.
Right before I started having that problem, right before COVID hit, and then the park closed. And then I was like, "Well, thank goodness
Oh.
we're not going to actually get any use out of the pass that we're paying for, anyways,
that's-
because we
Wow.
couldn't get reservations anymore
Really?
with the
Yeah.
cheapest one.
Yeah, we didn't. I did
It
not.
was painful.
Yeah, I did not run into it a single time. I literally would do it. I would literally go down. I talked about it before, where I would make it for the Thursday and then be in the park and be walking out and be like, I'm going to be here Sunday and make the reservation on Thursday for Sunday.
Yeah, because as soon as you scan in, you can check out another
Correct.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you had to wait for the flip over of the day. Like you had to wait for the calendar data. And
Yeah, like the midnight.
the
it's like
midnight had to
next
hit
one,
and then
yeah.
it would roll over.
Okay. Interesting. Well, reservation, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know that's going to be.
Did you guys talk about it last episode about the rumors that they were getting rid of reservations?
I
We
think-
didn't, but I kind of. We
talked
thought
about
that
how it needs to go away.
It needs to go away, and I thought it might be done.
Well, I think on Jim Hill they were talking about how there were rumors that when Iger came in, he was going to get rid of it, and he was supposedly going to announce it like the week after Thanksgiving. But even they were even talking about Chapek was going to. He got the ball rolling and canceling reservations, but
Yeah.
if he would have lasted a little bit longer, he might have gotten to announce it. But obviously, no one's announced it. So
Yeah.
My theory on Chapek is if he would have had another year, he would have never got fired. They would have given him one more year, he would not have gotten fired. That's my going theory.
We'll see. I mean, I said mid. I said 6 to 9 months, and then we'll see.
No,
how
and I was right. Like I gave him a little bit more grace, but yeah.
Yeah.
Like because I think I remember talking about it. I was like, at that point though, if it hasn't gotten better, then he needs to go.
Sure.
But yeah, I really think that you give him another year, he would not have gotten fired. The company would have flipped, and it would have been different and a different animal. But yeah,
I
but
think it just
profitable.
depends because even then the Jim Hill has talked about like the other problem with Chapek was the way he handled the actors and the whole Scarlett Johansson thing and
Talent.
stuff like that. So I think he just had a lot of bad things that happened at bad times and just put the nails in his coffin basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could go on and on. We already did, but yeah, we could keep on going. Yeah.
Another article. I mean, the next news item. I don't know if I want to delve into this. It's too much. It's about It's about Bob Chapek's restructuring attempt to cause heavy backlash from creative executives. I think we all know what was going on there.
Well, we can. I mean, we'll. Is it the conversation of him switching the creatives to have to report to merchandising? Is that kind of what? Because that was the restructure that I remember. It like nothing was going to get greenlit unless merch went. Yeah, we can sell that.
Yeah.
And if we can't sell that, we don't want to greenlight it.
You know, he was making decisions, taking creative decisions away from people that were creative. And he was putting it towards the people that were kind of crunching numbers and things like that. And I think that is what caused the big issue with the creative department.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, you
Yeah.
remove their power, anybody's going to get mad.
Yeah.
And to me, that does speak to a different point of view, and why I always have been going off and had been saying that he's the devil we need right now, because the company is in trouble money-wise, monetarily. So you need a bean counter to an extent to kind of tie in where you can, but it wouldn't last very long.
Right.
Honestly, I think we all knew that Chapek's time at the helm was going to be short. It wasn't going to be a 10-year, 20-year
I think someone
stint.
like him in any industry or company is they have a shelf life because they are the way they are.
Exactly.
You come in, you do your thing, and then you leave, and that's what it is.
And I made that point on the show a couple episodes ago that overall, I think it was on when we talked about the Bobs, that was my point. It's like Iger was there for such a long time, longer than a lot of CEOs, because they do that. They come in, they implement their processes, and at a point they run out of ideas, so they leave. Chapek, I think you give him the other 3. I thought he was going to do that 3-year term, then the one more 3-year term, and then he was going to be done. I didn't think they're going to renew him for the 3rd year. So that's how I saw that going, because I could see where the path that he was plotting out for the company was pretty plain to see. Anybody looking could see where he was going. And I'm like, okay, I don't like everything you're doing, but I see what you're doing. And I kind of agree with maybe 75% of what you're doing here. So given a crap sandwich that he was with COVID, I kind of like, what do you do?
Right.
So that's why I was very surprised when they fired him, because I could see him moving the company to a point where it was sustainable again and making money again. And then like an Iger or somebody like him could come back in and be like, okay, now that you pissed off that group of people, the creatives, now we need to get them back into the fold and then build more IP, and that's the whole thing with Iger, without going too far, is that he bought a lot of the IP. And I've been complaining for years that buying the IPs isn't going to be your problem solver long term. It's got to be creative. So I have a lot of issue with the creatives now, because I think they're lazy, but that's a whole other ball of wax to attack at another point.
Speaking about being creative lazy, our next topic is Tiana's Bayou adventure concept has been released.
So many goes away. So many different ways to go with this. But go ahead.
I mean, did you guys have anything to add to that creative thing he was talking about?
No, I'm
Okay.
excited about the Tiana thing.
Oh, you are excited about it. Okay, well,
I know. I might be on like the
Nope.
the minority. For
You are
some
not.
people,
Absolutely not.
but-
Disney has released 2 new Tiana's Bayou adventure concept art pieces featuring Princess Tiana and Louis in the Louisiana Bayou. This is going to replace Splash Mountain, as we know, in both Magic Kingdom and Disneyland Park. So this new art came out. This is clearly the Walt Disney World version, because I can tell by their boats, their logs are 2x2, and I kind of like that configuration, by the way.
I think it's way better. I'd like to sit next to a person as I'm being tortured by water.
Yeah. Totally.
And,
Right?
and you know what they could? In theory, they're gonna drain the whole thing. Why couldn't they completely refurb it to a point where they go side by side? I'm with you. Side by side would be way better.
I think it'd be so much more fun, because right now, otherwise, you feel very like it's really tight quarters, right? And then like the people in front of you just don't feel like you're actually interacting or like having that experience with anybody else. It's like just you.
Alone in terror.
Yeah.
with so much water in your
Well, the only negative with that is that I cannot use that people around me as my blockers for the water. As I will admit, I'm like, oh, here we go, and I just kind of I duck down.
You sit in the back. So like our last trip, I sat in the back, and we went with our best friends and family, who are our family, right, by choice, and they are really tall, right? They're all really, really tall.
You put them in the front?
Yeah, we put them in. So
Did they know? Did they know?
No. Wait, so one of them hadn't been in a really long time.
Oh, man. You set them up.
His mom, I think Val hadn't been on it in a long time, so she couldn't remember. I think Melissa said that she wasn't sure. I think Jason might have known. Yeah. They put Oliver, who, he's about to turn 6 now. So, but he's tall. He's a little bit taller.
Front,
we put him very front.
Oh man!
And then they were all in the middle seats.
Jeez.
And I was like, I'm going to sit in the back. I'm not
Oh, yeah.
sitting in the front of
You
this.
knew. You good call.
I knew. And I was like, this is great because they're like this, since they're so tall and I'm like 5'6", to like put it in perspective,
Yep.
right? Like I didn't get all of that water. So I
Yep.
got to enjoy the ride a
Yep.
lot more.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
really nice. If it was 2x2, that would have complicated it,
Yeah.
I think. I would have got more water, but it does feel very isolating. That's the
does.
only thing.
It
It'd be
does.
nice to have like, someone else sit next to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've all seen the artwork for this. We didn't learn anything new, really, honestly, from this. But what are you looking forward to the most, Karina, with all this?
To be honest,
Please be honest.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I mean, I
The
don't.
logs are a little interesting looking.
No, well, that's Disney World's version.
Well, I'm wondering. No, I'm
Yeah.
wondering if they're gonna do the same thing.
Aren't they doing Disneyland first, or is
No,
Disney,
Disney World
first?
goes off.
Oh,
I
is
think
Disney World first? I thought it was Disneyland.
no. Theirs goes offline early January and down through January 20, and then sometime in 24 it comes out. But there's no time for us yet,
No.
so we don't know what's going on. But
Doesn't Disney World
You know,
have enough
if-
stuff going on.
Well, I think if they're intelligent about it, they're gonna go like, okay, what is working, what is not working. Which I kind of like and don't like all at the same time because
Yeah.
part of me is like, we want our attraction, even though they're going to be mirrors, like to be. I don't like that whole like what they did with Galaxy's Edge, Batu East and Batu West. I'm like, no, like why do I have an exact line? Like, give me personality, give me individualism.
Realistically, it didn't make sense financially. It does and doesn't. Because as a company owner, if I have two parks, wouldn't I make them both different? Because then that would give you a reason to
Yep.
go to
Do
both,
both parks.
you would, but in the design and manufacturing
Yeah, then
process,
it's more
it makes
expensive.
Yeah, it's
Or-
more
yeah.
expensive.
But still,
That was a twofold, in my opinion, that was a twofold decision with that one. One was money-wise. The other one was Kathleen Kennedy. I wanted to like.
Probably, but I can
Yeah.
tell you if Walt Disney World or us got like Endor and someone else got like that too, yeah, I'd be going.
Yeah,
to
we would have gone already.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to go. I want to see that place.
Yep. I would have gone.
So just a quick description. You can see fireflies will light up the night and invite you deeper into the bayou, almost like they're waving you forward. What you can't tell from this rendering, so you'll just have to trust me on this one, is the beautiful Zydeco music. It will fill the air. So, yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the theme is. She's trying to make something, right? You got to find some recipe or ingredient or something.
yeah.
Super important stuff.
The world will end
Yes,
otherwise.
yes.
Yep.
But I think we did not get Karina's response to what.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
What is it?
Well, part of it is so this is one of the well, I wouldn't say the last ones, but one of the last films that have been animated, like the traditional animation,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So just diving into like what like Princess and the Frog is in general. It's actually I hadn't been that excited about like a Disney princess movie in a very long time until Princess and the Frog came out, and then I was like, oh my gosh, like just it was a very good movie. The music was wonderful.
Oh,
The
yeah,
animation was so well done. And I think for like I'm 32, about to turn 33. A lot of the Splash Mountain theming for me is just it's like before my time, I think, a little bit. And then the kids, like now that we're bringing the kids into it, they have no idea. Like they go into Critter Country and they go over and they see like, Winnie the Pooh. And they're like, Winnie the Pooh is still relevant. They see it. It's on Disney Plus, on the Disney Junior channel, that sort of thing. And they're like, oh, I see that. But like Splash Mountain, they're like, I don't understand it. I don't understand the critters. I don't understand this piece of it. And so I think that it's smart for the company to tie in a license in order to get people to still be interested in it. The interesting part to me was always like people still really love Splash Mountain. So do you really necessarily feel the need to change something that people still really love and enjoy, right? That doesn't have a tied license to it. But I'm really excited about it just because I really love the movie.
Okay.
And I really would like to see some updated themings to keep it interesting. That was like my big piece of it. It's still
Sure.
iconic and classic the way it is as Splash Mountain right now.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited to see what they can do with it. After seeing like a lot of the things that they've done over the years, like with like Pandora and
Oh,
you
yes.
know, like even what they took was it the Maelstrom in
Yeah.
Disney World, and they did Frozen? Was that the change?
That was in
about
Epcot.
right? Epcot. All of the big changes that they did there, I'm hoping that this thing will be spectacular. That's what I'm really like. I'm like, please don't mess this up, Disney. Like,
Oh, I don't think they're gonna hit a high fly ball. I think the ball's gonna be out of the park. It's gonna
Yeah.
be.
I kind of feel like they should have just gone with the movie though.
yeah,
Like all the dark rides, the
story.
OG dark rides are just the movie.
The story
Just give me the
seems
movie
strange.
again, and then
yeah.
I feel like you could do the movie, and then when you get the drop, that's when Dr. Facilier is maybe I got friends on the other side, and then boom, you fall.
Sure.
And then
Yeah.
then you have the end of the movie, and it
Yeah.
resolved itself.
You,
Because
you're not the first one to make that argument. Sam Carter, that was his big argument. Like, for him, Dr. Facilier is like one of his favorite characters and one of his favorite villains, and for him to be completely like not in it, I'm like, and at that point, I was like, I hadn't thought of that. And then he brought that up, and I went, you know what, you're right, because he is very, for a villain, he's one of my favorite.
he's
favorite
one of
too.
the
He's
best.
He's one of the best.
Of recent history.
Yeah, and I agree. Like,
Yeah.
I'm ready for a new story. I don't mind that, but yeah, for it to be out of the box, I think that was the error with Galaxy's Edge, and I think that's my concern here. I mean, animatics, animatronics, theming, all that is going to be amazing. There's, I don't have any doubt in my mind, but the story is going to be, and since we don't know the story, are they going to be able to tell it well enough on the attraction? Because we know, like the OG rides, we don't need the spaces filled in. We know them already. So Peter Pan, Mr. Toad's, Pinocchio, all these things that they can jump scene after scene because we know we have that filler. This one is not going to have that. So my curiosity does go there. Is like, are you going to be able to tell the story so anybody on that attraction can follow as we go around? I'm going to hope they do, but it would make infinitely more sense for them to just do the movie, because then we all know the movie and we can be in, and I air quote, the movie, which is adds the whole thing to me, for me. So,
Or even to have like the whole, I can't think of what the word is, but the whole company mesh together, have the movie on the park, the ride is the movie, and then on Disney Plus you do this story that they're doing as a mini series thing, and that's what then you release that right when the ride opens, and then there you go.
That was Incredicoaster, right? Because the little and basically they took like the little side story of when Jack is with
Edna,
with Edna, right?
That was like the whole that was the second movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it was like a piece of it that you like. I don't know. They were able to tie that in and morph it in well, and that I can say like worked to their advantage. But that's the thing is like I don't quite understand what their thinking is if they're trying to say like we think this will bring more people in because they won't know the storyline and maybe that'll be interesting to them. But I can say that it's like sometimes it is really nice to know the story and sometimes it's not so much. So like my complaint, I love The Little Mermaid. Okay, I used to sing it in my sleep. I would like it came out when I was like 1 or 2 years old. I can't remember the exact date, but because I think it came out in '89 and I was born in '90. It was like my very first princess. I know. Mark is shaking his head.
Yeah.
But the Little Mermaid ride in DCA is so incredibly underwhelming. It basically follows the story. Basically, like and when I say basic, I mean like there's a lot of chunks that I feel like are still missing, but it still follows like what the general storyline is. And I'm just like bored out of my mind. I'm like, it's not that I know the story that well. It's just it's felt so underwhelming and I would have been happy in that instance to be like, show me something new. Give me something new. I know that the second Little Mermaid wasn't super great, but like, can you do something with that? Could you like throw something in more interesting? And maybe like they're concerned like that's the case and they need something to spice it up. But I can tell you maybe it also goes with the theming too of like the kitchen. Tiana's like palace thing, because there is a new store in Disneyland over in the New Orleans Square where right, and we were they had just opened I think right before we went in October, and we checked out that little store, and if the theming is anything tied into like what that's going to be like, it's very much like her mom the dressmaker and her Tiana like kitchen like cook, chef. Like, it was very much into that. And I don't know if they're trying to tie the things together kind of thing. But it'll be interesting to know as more details come out about like what the storyline's supposed to be like.
Yeah.
Because it might be fantastic. I don't know. Or it could be just strange.
Yeah, I mean, you see, we all come to this with totally different perspectives. I mean, I totally understand what you're saying. For me, I just want to see what technology they can bring to this attraction to see if they can spice. I mean, as you mentioned about Pandora, I've never seen that in real life. I've seen videos, but they can definitely bring some of that here, and I want to see that.
Yes, I'm really excited about that.
And I want to see if it's different at night. How that. I mean, I'm not a big Splash Mountain person, but I think I'd probably try this, daytime and nighttime just to see what's going on. And yeah, I mean, that's how I'm kind of looking at it.
Oh, another thing too that I'm just thinking of, like off the top of my head too. I was really skeptical of the Tower of Terror because I love Tower of Terror so much. When they changed it to Guardians,
We were upset.
I was so mad. And don't get me wrong, I love Guardians of the Galaxy. It's one of my favorite like Marvel movies now. It took me some like time to get used to, but I was like, okay, I'm going to go ride this thing and I'm not going to like it and
Yes.
it's terrible and blah, blah, blah. And that one doesn't even follow like a traditional storyline either, right? Like it has its own story in it, right? I have that for the most part, right? Correct?
Yeah.
And that one is still an absolute blast.
It's a blast.
Absolutely love it. I still miss Tower of Terror.
I do too.
100%.
Yep.
But I can say they did a phenomenal job, and I still enjoy going on it, even though it doesn't follow like the actual story of what Guardians of the Galaxy is.
No, it's a completely different story, which is great.
Yeah.
'Cause you could do your own little adventure, and that's great. We were the same way here. We talked about it, and like, this cannot be. But
worried.
it's so cool,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, yeah. Interesting. Okay, so that's coming up. Next news item, I guess I'll do the last one. This will be the last one I will do, is the Indiana Jones Adventure attraction to close for multi-month refurbishment at Disneyland. May include new Dial of Destiny content.
I hope not.
Well, we don't know what this
Oh
is
my
gonna...
lord, I really hope not.
So starting on January 9th, the attraction will be closed for a lengthy refurbishment. That's all we know. Right, Udi, was there something else that was released today?
No, that came out basically confirming the rumor that they are going to be shutting it down.
Yeah.
For and it didn't really go further into detail, but we have made the comment many times that it has been way overdue for a major refurb, major refurb, and everybody's like nodding their head like yep, and it's true. I mean, the person who sent me the article said in the text just said it's about effing time.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I concur 100%. Like it's about effing time.
So this will go, and now you sort of see the strategy because they're going to release Mickey. No, not release. They're going to open Mickey and Minnie's Railway the 27th or so.
I think is what I can probably
later January.
Yep.
So that will probably take away some of the pain of Indiana Jones, I would imagine.
Oh, not my pain, but yeah.
No, not your pain.
You figure Indiana Jones goes down every hour, so
Well, no, and that was the other thing is like that was the complaint that I had from people who've gone to the park. Like Indy was going down and down and down and down and down. So I wouldn't be surprised if they had their internal analytics going, dude, this is out of control here.
Yeah,
like
sure.
we're at a point where
there
the
a
thing.
whole room that's just dark in there, and I don't know Indiana
Yeah.
Jones that well, but I'm pretty sure it's just
Wait
dark.
a second,
Yeah.
though, and I might be misremembering this. May be like a Mandela effect thing. So,
Oh, the
like, if
Mandela
someone
effect,
else, if
yes.
someone
Oh,
else
boy, here we
also
go.
like this happened to,
You're speaking Udi's
wasn't
language.
it back? Like
The answer is
back,
yes.
Okay,
Whatever it is you're going
when
to
you
say.
were going through the dark area and it's supposed to be like scarabs and stuff, and there was like things that blow and touch the back
Yep.
of your legs.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
That's what made that part interesting
And
and
freaky.
different and weird.
Yeah, because you didn't know things were crawling on you.
Yes,
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But otherwise, since they got rid of that, then you are just like
Yeah, it's
going
just
through a
dark.
dark
Dark
room,
room,
and you're
yeah.
like,
You are, yeah.
what is this supposed
Because
to be?
the other thing they did too, and I don't know if I remember if they did the light with the bugs, and then that was in there too. I don't know if that dark room was that room, I believe.
It's probably that one too. It's just completely. I remember being just completely pitch black, and you're just like sitting
We got
through
stuck
it.
there
and-
once.
Yeah.
Like the last time we rode it, we got stopped several times throughout
I'm
the
not
ride
surprised.
where it just stopped.
Right.
And then again, we brought this up before, is that you used to be able to go through 3 different starting points, right?
Yeah.
You could go through, you could either get fortune, health, and I forgot what the third
Yeah, I
one
forgot
was.
the last one was.
You get like the 3 windows.
yeah, you
but
get the
now
3 windows, yeah,
The
it's
other
all-
2 of the tracks are gone.
Are gone.
Are they? I didn't even.
No, I mean you
notice
do, you
that.
can't.
was
They're
like-
there, but you can't go through.
That was like in the 90s. Where
Yeah, they got rid of it a long
Oh wow.
time ago.
Okay, I didn't realize.
Could you
that.
imagine if they completely redid Indiana Jones with the technology they have now, though?
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so
Like
excited.
with
Well,
Rise technology
yeah.
on
Yeah.
that would be
Well,
crazy.
and there's the thing is like the bar. I mean, we made the comment when Rise opened, like the bar is now, way up here. It is everything now that comes from that is going to be like, well, it's cool, but it isn't Rise. That's basically going to be the thing in my mind. I think I'm going to be repeating quite often. So I don't know if they can add the tech that's in there back in that ride and kind of revitalize that whole attraction.
Well, if they start adding like elements of the Style of Destiny stuff, we haven't seen it yet, but it's called Temple of the Forbidden Eye.
Correct. There's
which,
no
again,
reason to add that in.
This is its own adventure. This is not
Yeah.
a story we've seen before.
Yeah.
Although the rolling ball, I guess, is a throwback to something, right?
To-
It's a Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Thank you. I'm like,
I know. I just was trying to say that. But if they start having some features of this new movie in there, then it can no longer be Temple of the Forbidden Eye,
No.
right?
Yeah.
It's that fine line of staying nostalgic while also advancing the ride.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, though, it being a good story, they don't need.
Yeah.
This is where I get mad at Disney. Like, look, when you have lightning in a jar, don't think you need to modify lightning in a jar. You don't have to. I know it's been 20, 30 years, whatever, but people come to that attraction in droves and love it till this day. Just revitalize it and give it its original life, and people will love it. Just don't feel like you have to modify it and make it more relevant.
Well, in terms of theming, I agree with you. But
Yeah.
if there's some new technology with like LED lighting or something,
Well,
like
that will enhance the story. Is my
Yeah,
point.
yes.
Yeah, like put it strategically throughout the attraction, and then figure out like here it would be better if we now did it with this, and we could punch this up and make this a little bit more tense or whatever.
Yeah.
Using the tech, then go for it, but don't go through like, well, we need to add this whole Dial of Destiny, which nobody knows. And right now, I will not go on the Jag other than say I've not heard a single good thing about it. I'll leave it there.
But you saw the trailer. You hated the trailer, Udi?
Yes.
No, there was a trailer.
Oh, Udi, come on now. How could you have hated the trailer?
I don't believe in magic, but I've seen some things. I went, are you kidding me right now? The Ark, the Souls, the Holy Grail, aliens, and you don't believe in Indy? Really? Oh, don't. Anyway, so I'm going to stop right there. because
Okay.
I will spend another hour ranting on why that was stupid.
So what is your prediction for how long this is offline?
If it's not more than 6 to 8 months, I'm going to be like, then it didn't take long enough.
It's definitely going to be at least that. Because
It
what,
needs to be-
Pirates?
it needs to
How
be a
long was
year.
Pirates? 9 months? It was a while.
It was a while. Yeah,
When does the movie come out?
June.
June? Oh, so it'll be done.
No.
Oh no.
not
After.
be.
I bet it'll be
needs
after.
to be
It's going to
after.
get everybody, because they want everybody to see the movie first, right? So they get acclimated to the idea of it. Then they're like, oh, I'm excited. They're hoping,
Yeah, but
like, everybody excited.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, no, I got to go back to Disneyland and ride the ride because there's like these new
I
things.
say August.
I don't say August.
say
See,
August.
nothing opens up at August,
August,
though.
September, October. I'm thinking end of year.
I'm
End of
thinking
year.
fall.
I'm
Well,
thinking
you know,
sooner because they definitely pushed the Jungle Cruise stuff out as soon as.
Yeah, but okay, but Jungle Cruise, it was different. I mean,
Be careful.
no, because they didn't have to do full redos of the main of the attraction
You're
itself.
right. That was one of the most truest sentences I've heard you say. They did not have to do anything.
Well, that's true.
Okay.
So they had to change spots of it. They didn't have to go through because Indy needs a full.
It needs a
It
needs a
needs
whole lot
It
of
needs a whole
work.
lot of work. So here's the only caveat. The other caveat to the movie is, what if the movie bombs?
People will still ride Indy.
And
But,
that
yeah.
is my
That's the
point.
thing.
That's my point.
No
It's like,
matter
why,
what, they'll still ride it.
Yeah, no, and that's my point. It's like, why incorporate an unknown factor into something that, like I said, it's already lightning in a jar. Don't modify it. You don't need to. Like, either gut it and redo it like what they did with Tower,
Yeah,
or just bring it back to its original glory.
sure.
That's it. The ride was great. The
It is-
attraction was great
yeah.
back then. It is great now. It's just diminished in its greatness. That's all. We're talking about levels of, like, levels of awesome. We're like at level 2 when we're at 10 at one point. So
Yeah.
let's get us back to 10. We're fine.
Sure. Absolutely. And yeah, we're getting there. Okay. Well, that's going to be the news. I'm just going to quickly say that Disney Plus did launch with tiers with ad-supported stuff, but I don't necessarily care.
Has anybody got ads? That's what I want to know. Because
Not yet.
they launched it, I don't have any ads. But then I was looking at her thing, and I was very confused. They changed, just like, sorry, not to like go on a tangent, but
we,
of course
we never do that.
we have adult profiles and we have kids profiles, and our kids profiles changed dramatically, right?
Yeah, because the rated R things, that
well,
came in.
it's the junior. There was a junior mode before, and it would just automatically switch to all the kids stuff, and there would be some movies that wouldn't be on there, right? But then most movies were. Like, I can't remember, like Brave wasn't on there because I guess that was too scary or something for the kiddos.
The Big Bear.
There was like a couple other ones, I think.
Nightmare Before Christmas
Nightmare Before
wasn't on the
Christmas
kids'
wasn't on there
one.
because I
Okay,
assumed that was too
that
scary,
one's
which is
freaky,
like kind
yeah.
of understandable,
Yeah,
even though our
sure.
kids are like addicted to it, right?
Lightyear wasn't even on there.
But Buzz wasn't on there. Yeah, Lightyear wasn't on there.
Well, you know why that one.
Yes.
It was kind of frustrating, but we dealt with it. But then recently, since everyone had the update to the Disney Plus, and we went into their junior profile, and the junior profile basically nothing
Yeah,
in
you
there.
couldn't even watch Toy Story.
You
on
couldn't. None of the Toy Story movies were on there. I'm pretty sure
Oh.
I thought they were rated G.
They are.
So we had to go in. We had to mess with the settings, and now it looks like an adult profile,
there. Maybe they can only watch to PG now.
but they can only watch to PG. So it still only shows like the kid stuff, but it's not kid friendly anymore. Right? It doesn't have that kid like essence to it anymore, which made me really sad.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to figure out the ad thing, so I was so worried. I heard that they're pushing it out and rolling it out. I was like, oh my gosh, are we going to get ads? And I haven't seen any ads yet, but we are kind of, I think we're like legacy or whatever because we had it from the very beginning.
Yep.
So our price point, I think, is actually lower too on top of it.
If you signed up, yeah.
It's weird. So I was like, maybe ours isn't the ad one because I wanted
we'll
to make
get
sure
it.
because I don't want ads. I don't want ads. I
I
will
wonder
pay.
what kind of ads they're going to be.
I don't know.
toys.
Probably, huh?
I think
Yeah.
it's like Disney
I mean, if they're
toys,
smart, it's
Disney
Disney
Vacation.
movies, Disney parks, Disney everything.
It won't be
Yeah.
like Budweiser, right?
Yeah.
I hope not.
Well, if I'm breaking them Deadpool, then yeah, I don't mind a beer ad in there.
Is Deadpool on that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. I don't spend any time on Disney Plus, so I don't know.
Oh, really?
Did you not finish Andor?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, I just watch those things. I don't go and watch other things. I've seen all the Disneyland stuff and then the Star Wars stuff, and that's it.
Okay. And I'm out.
Yeah, I don't need any more of that. But I loved Andor, by the way.
So you didn't watch any of like the Marvel stuff, like
I've already seen all that stuff.
well, like
Oh no, I haven't seen the new Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas.
Groot.
Oh.
Groot.
What? Wait. What?
Captain America one. I can't think of the name. Winter.
Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah, of course.
show and stuff like
You
that.
saw that.
I saw that at the
I already
theater.
told you not to watch She-Hulk, so spare yourself of that.
Okay.
Okay. But the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I
Oh
wanna
my
watch
Lord,
it.
how have you not watched it? I've watched it 3 times
I've
already.
been busy. How long is it?
45.
Okay, I can spare 45
Yeah, you
That
minutes.
was a Christmas one.
Yeah. Have you?
Holiday special.
Oh, I loved it.
I fell asleep in it.
We just put a television in our bedroom for the very first time. I was
Uh-oh.
very against it. Very against it.
Now you love it?
Now I'm like, it's kind of nice. But I remember I was wrapping Christmas presents. Like, we'll watch it. And then
You've
I could
already
just
wrapped
hear him
presents? I haven't
snoring.
wrapped any presents yet.
Oh, I've heard that. But like with small children, I can't keep those things hidden. There's
Oh, yeah.
only so much space. And I was like, this has got to happen. So we turned it on and I could hear him snoring. I was like, oh man, he's missing the whole thing. So I was watching it in between and I was like, this is interesting. It was a very unique take on it. But I love Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Like I'm addicted. And so are the kids.
Oh yeah, it's great. But I will make a point of watching that this week.
Oh, Santa Clauses, by the way. The Santa Clauses.
I'm only 2 episodes in. It's all right.
It's good. It gets
Is it a
better.
series?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know. Didn't
Yes.
know
The
that.
title sequence is weird though.
It
Very
is.
trippy.
I don't know who signed off on that weirdness, but the actual show itself is really good and it gets better because I
Okay.
was like, at first I was like, I don't know if I want to ruin this. Maybe I should just stick with the original Santa Claus
Yeah.
movies. It does get better.
Well,
Okay.
yeah. And then the only other thing that I am complaining about now is Willow in the end
started
the end scene. The end credit.
Oh, it's weird.
Is the season over already?
No.
Do you have to know anything about Willow to enjoy this? Because I know nothing about it. I've never
well,
seen
they
Willow.
go through a recap, but if you haven't seen Willow, you're going to be like, you don't get some of the dynamics in there.
Is Willow on Disney Plus? The
Yeah.
movie? Okay, I can watch that.
Yeah, it's on there. You could, yeah. For anybody, recommendation: if you are going to watch the new Willow series, go watch Willow before and then go in.
Okay.
Okay, that's good to know too
Yeah.
because I haven't
Yeah,
seen
it will help you immensely. Like
Okay.
that's why I'm irritated at it because I know that movie really, really well. But
Okay.
anyway, we won't go there.
Okay. Well, that's going to wrap up our news, and then we have our feature presentation. But before that, the randomizer did show up today. And like I said, I can't control it. I've been
excited to do this.
It came up early, but I've been trying to push it back. But now it's finally shocked me.
He hasn't been around for a little bit, I think. He's
Yes.
like, I'm out. I don't know.
So,
He was on a bender somewhere.
so refresh the rules for us, Rudy, so they know.
So for the randomizer, you have to
Sorry.
modify one, keep one as is, and remove one.
But if you modify it, what do you have to
You
do?
need to know. You need to say how you would modify it.
Because
You can't just go, we're going to change that one and walk away from it. Nah, you're not corporate. You're not a corporate VP.
Yes.
You have to actually figure it out.
yes, as Rudy says, the randomizer demands it that you do
Demands it. It will not leave until you fulfill that requirement.
it. And
What do we got? What did he come up
today it
with?
spit out, and I love it when it does this. We've got one from DCA and two from Disneyland.
DC is automatically gone.
Unless
No, he won't.
it's
Oh, really?
Dumbo the Flying Elephant,
Yeah, gone. Oh, no, wait.
Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout,
Mother, father.
and something called the Matterhorn Bobsleds.
Oh,
We've
man.
never had the Matterhorn on.
I'm going to run deck cord along the bottom of the Matterhorn sled and do boom. I'm kidding.
We can never go again. Okay. Usually Udi's quick to get this on,
Yep,
but
I got it already.
I will let Aaron and or Karina
You go first.
do whatever
Oh
you guys
no,
can.
I can't go first. I'm gonna crush some people's hearts.
No.
No.
Okay. Okay, so I think before kids, I would have answered this completely differently.
Just imagine that. Just imagine that Bob Iger's sitting here going, Karina, what would you like?
Oh,
to
if we're going from that
do? No, I'm
perspective,
just messing with you.
like that's, no, maybe mine would be the same too. Oh, that's such a tough one. Man, I'm gonna have to throw this under the bus though.
That's fine.
I would keep the Guardians of the Galaxy as is. I would get rid of Dumbo. I absolutely get rid of Dumbo.
I can hear Jess going.
And
"Hate
I
it,
know,
hate it."
I know. This one was a tough decision because it's like both of them, both the Matterhorn and Dumbo are very classic rides.
Yes.
And I know the kids love Dumbo, and it is a cute little ride. But at the end of the day, it's like usually the kids will do like one little ride around, and they're like good to go. You know, it's not as iconic to me as like the carousel, where the carousel was just like the kids love it, they'll rewrite it. It's just this centerpiece to Fantasyland, like, and that's the thing. Honestly, this is a really tough choice. I have a really tough choice. So I would modify Matterhorn.
How? No, wait. How?
I don't know. This is the tough part. I'm trying to think exactly how I would do it. But if there was any way, if like I had unlimited funding and I could
Yes, of course.
do what I wanted in it.
I've already got my three. If you need.
Do you want to come back?
Yeah, I'll come back because I have
Okay.
some thoughts, but
Okay.
I want to make sure that I articulate
Okay,
it right. So
I
like,
say
you
this-
can go, okay.
Same,
We will allow that.
same thing. Get rid of Dumbo. We have the Astro Orbiters. We'll modify that and put it back in its place.
Are you trying to say Astro Orbiters is better than Dumbo?
It's the same ride.
But I would, okay,
same.
that's
But
fine.
get rid of Dumbo.
This is going to be a long drive home for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Keep Guardians the same. Modify Matterhorn. And you could go, I feel like you could go two ways. You could either go put the Skyway through it again, which is totally, I think that's extra. But do that, make it smoother, make the ride seats bigger, and make the Yeti work again. Like make him work to what it was before. My other way to go would be make it more like Expedition Everest in Animal Kingdom,
So yeah, okay, so
where you go
yeah.
backwards and all that stuff,
Yeah,
and it's a little more thrilling.
yeah. So
It's smoother.
Yeah, so I think my modify is kind of similar to what Aaron was gonna say. I feel like the fixing the Yeti thing and making it smoother is just like it just needs to be refurbed, right? Like it needs to be. I think it needs a little. It's like
It's been
would
so
be
long
nice.
since I've been on the Matterhorn though.
but I feel like Indy is more jerky than Matterhorn is, like 100 times more. So it's not like that big of a deal. But if I'm thinking like a true modify, I think, and this is just me because I like story, and I think that it's really hard with Matterhorn. I don't think, when you're riding Big Thunder and you're like going through and you have like the TNT going up as you're like going up the ride, and then you see like the dinosaur bones and like this and that, and it's just like you're so enveloped in it that it's not just like a roller coaster type attraction piece. I would want a little bit more of that. I would want a little bit more story built into it.
Okay.
That's what I would ideally want. And if that slowed up the ride a little bit, I would be okay with that. If there was a way to make it so you could slow it up a little bit and have that. And it's also such a big iconic piece. That mountain, you can't get rid of it. That's one of the reasons why I didn't chop that one, right? Like it's so important to the land. I couldn't.
Sure.
I think Mark has differing
No.
ideas about it.
I'm just listening to you for that. They've got great answers for sure. Yeah, I think I'm keeping Guardians of the Galaxy the way it is. I have no problems with that as it is. I think that's great. A Dumbo, you talk about theming. That is all theming because that is just a garden variety spinner. I mean, you can go to any parking lot fair and see that thing around there and go, well, this is the same thing. But I know Jess would be upset with that. But with Matterhorn, I think it has to be modified in some ways. I think, first off, and this is just a stupid thing, but get rid of Fast Pass or whatever it is, the Lightning Lane or Genie Plus, whatever. Just get rid of that now, like immediately. And I would like. No, I have not been to Expedition Everest. Hopefully next year I get to go. But from what I understand, there's a lot of theming around that attraction, right? There's some build up, and I would like to have some sort of village around there where you could have more stuff that would get you interested in going on the Matterhorn, as if you needed any more excuse to go on it, right? But that sort of theming I'd want there. Now, the big complaint about Matterhorn is it's jerky or whatever, but it's a bobsled. I've been on a few bobsled rides, and they're never a smooth experience. Like, oh my gosh, and then you're on your back. So there's that. I don't know. I always thought maybe like another track would have been great up there. But what it would have done.
Oh, no, I like this, Mark, though, because what if there was like a second track and you can see people pass you?
Well, there is 2 tracks, isn't there?
No, but I don't think you can see. Can you see other people? I don't remember that.
Sometimes you can.
Yeah, I think so.
If you're going by,
If there's
it's
like a way to
momentary.
like,
Yeah, it's
kind of
momentary.
like how Radiator Springs Racers, like you have the 2 cars coming up, and granted they're racing each other, but that would be really cool, like going up the mountain.
I do like the Skyway through there, but that's a whole other attraction. Gosh, I missed that thing. And out of anything, that's the one I miss the most. So I like more Harold, as you had mentioned, the Yeti. I do like it when you're going on the lift hill that he's on the either side doing growling or whatever. That gets people charged up and kids are screaming and whatnot. That's great. So let me see. Maybe like I said, like an alternate track, a third track somewhere. I don't know. I might have to come back on that for a second. Udi, I'm sure you've got some good thoughts.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. So Dumbo's peace out.
Okay.
I mean, you do have the only thing that gives you pause is the iconography behind it, right? It's like, oh man.
When was the last time you rode Dumbo, by the way?
Probably when I was 2. No, I don't know. Honestly, I can't even remember.
I rode it the day we were at Rise, because my sister and I rode it. And it's the first time her and I had ridden it together since '85, and she laughed the whole time.
Yeah.
And I go, she just was like the funniest. This is like one of the things. I go, Carolyn, this is.
It's nostalgia, though. Come on,
Yeah,
man.
sure.
With her brother.
It's very cute.
Yeah. Anyways.
So, no, but other than that, yeah. I mean, it needs to go. I would not change a thing on Matterhorn. The reason being is that herky-jerky slamming and banging things, like, the main reason why is because of the original design of the attraction itself, the ride mechanism. To me, They don't do that anymore. So the tubing all the way down to it is like that's kind of a lost art. So yeah, it isn't as refined.
It's very
and
much a
smooth.
lost art.
So it's almost like a thing of like you can't touch that antique and let it run, like refurb and put it back, but let it run because you don't get that anymore. And honestly, if you can't get knocked around on an attraction for a little bit, then you need a nice padded room. That's just my opinion. Like go,
Yeah, no, exactly.
Go get your pillow and your whoopee and go in the corner and be like, it's gonna be okay.
Sure.
So, but here now going to Guardians. Now the ways you could modify Guardians, there are multiple ways for Guardians. Okay.
Hold on. I just thought about one thing.
All right, go
just
for
real quick. And it's, do you guys remember the other, not this incarnation of the bobsleds, but the previous one, maybe 2 generations before, where they didn't have dividers in between the front and back? It was just one bench.
You could you could move
Do you
around.
guys remember that?
I don't remember that.
So, yeah, so it's very much like, I mean,
Like Splash? Almost like Splash?
Exactly right.
Because there isn't really dividers
Yeah, you had like
between
one.
them, right?
You had like one person, then you had like one divider maybe in the middle. I think it was, and then the people could move. You could basically like move. You could shift back around.
You
back and
could.
forth, yeah.
So you could, like, for example, if you were, on a date with a girl or something, you could sit in the back and she could sit like right
Yep, right
into your
in
legs.
between. Yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
just right up against you.
Yep.
And you
Yeah.
have like one strap, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I wish they could bring that back. That would be funny. Of course, Rudy and I wouldn't go on it. But,
No, then I'd be like, hey, you get your own car.
but anyways, I'll stop.
So going back to Guardians real quick. For me, always like go higher. I could go
want to go
with
higher than
yeah
it is?
go up. The other thing would be to then increase the modification for the music. So we have 6 right now. As much as I love them, it's already time for a redo.
You want Metallica on there.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
What song would you choose? You gotta pick one. One. There you go.
Okay, hold on. I'm thinking of
one.
I'm thinking. No, not one. I'm thinking of the ride. I'm trying to think of a good song for that one. Oh no! Seek and Destroy wouldn't be a bad one because if you think about it, he's rockets running around to Seek and they're going to destroy. So Seek and Destroy would be a good one. But anyway,
Battery would be good.
Battery would be good too. But anyway, do that. Go up, and then when they do After Dark, do that as a random. Randomly throw in After Dark, we do. Like literally, it's going to be like boom, and then they could do Fade to Black on that one. But anyway,
or Fuel would be good.
Fuel would be a good one too.
You guys doing your little powwow.
Yeah. So you do that. You increase the height. You increase the variation, and not only to you put the drop sequences into more of a better into a randomizer because it's programmed in there. So you basically randomize a drop sequence. And then you randomize the music with more, and then you increase the height, and then you add in the element of darkness when you don't know. Like, ooh, I wonder if I'm going to get blacked out in this one.
Yes.
There you go. So it adds a whole new air of not knowing what's going on in mystery before you even get in. So if you did all that and made that a mainstay of the attraction, that would be amazing.
It would be, because then you'd get someone going off it and going, oh, shoot, I didn't get that. Let's go back in line.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That increases your things of like rewriting over and over. And we already do it. But imagine doing that. That would bring so many people. I would literally, there was very few attractions that I've been known to just like get off and like right back in line. And I would do that with that one. Like
That
off
actually is a good
and
question.
right back on. Off and right back on.
What do you get?
There are 2 that I would do that with right now.
Right now?
Get off in line and go right back. Haunted.
Do you guys have that?
Oh.
If you didn't have kids with you or something.
I know. I was
Because
gonna
I'm
say,
just
that's
understanding.
I know that modifies
I know
everything.
I'm hungry.
It's
What?
because we utilize parent swap. So
Okay.
for a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit. That's helpful in a lot of regards.
Oh, yeah.
But I actually feel like Guardians is one of the ones that we've ridden over and over. Well, not just Guardians, but Tower of Terror. It's one of my favorite. I think that is
I
my
remember
favorite
like
ride
in
in
the
Tower of
early days of Tower of
in,
Terror,
California.
me and my sister and her boyfriend at the time, there was like no line, so we got to ride it like 3
Back
times.
in
I
the
feel like
day.
back to back to back.
Back
Like,
in the day. But if it was Disneyland,
Oh, Disneyland? I don't know. I know.
I actually
Radiator
like to get
Springs.
stuck in Haunted Mansion. I love to. We get, they stop a lot, so I would go back and forth with Haunted. And then, Pirates I could sit in all day. But those are like my 2 favorite. Oh, Big Thunder, though.
Yes.
Yeah, Big
Oh my
Thunder would be
gosh,
Yes.
I
back
would
to back.
100%. That would probably be. Yes,
I would do
my
that.
one of my top ones. I would.
Absolutely.
I don't feel like
Yeah.
I could do Space Mountain back to back though.
I
I
couldn't.
could do that too.
I
I could.
couldn't.
I don't
feel
know if I
like-
could. My
could.
stomach and brain would have
Yeah,
to be all,
I think
like,
that
in sync
now
to
as
do
I'm
that
getting
kind of
older,
stuff.
it's getting a little
Yeah.
shook up. But for some reason, Big Thunder doesn't do that to me, and I could
Yeah.
definitely do that one over.
Yeah, mine would be Haunted and Thunder. I'd be like, boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
Yes.
And then my third would be Space. I would go do that. If I could do Rise, yeah, that would be that. But I know that one, yeah.
Yeah.
You would do. I mean, I think I could do Space twice in a row, but that
Oh,
would
I
probably
could
be it.
easy.
That'd
I
be
could
it.
easy.
That'd be it for me.
But then again, you guys can't even handle Star Tours.
That's true. Of course. Yeah, Big Thunder for sure.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
I could probably do. And you know what? I would do Matterhorn. Just go on either track, and that'd be cool.
Just bounce between the two.
Yeah, like I could go like we'll do A track, B track, and then just we're gonna ride that one, and then ride that one, then we're out.
Yep, for sure. And I have done that. Anyways, all right, cool. Randomizer's done.
Get out of here, random.
Get out. Okay. I always like to see what it would kick out just one last time if we were going to do it again, but we're not going to because this does not have this is the Karina one. The Little Mermaid, Ariel's Undersea Adventure, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, and Dumbo. And Dumbo.
Oh, that is. I would have such a hard time with that one. 'Cause I would get
Okay,
rid of
special episode 164 version. Karina, since you're a special guest,
Yeah.
you get to do this one
Only you, only you.
because Udi would say all three are gone.
Oh yeah, I don't even mind. I'm
I
like,
don't know, Mr. Toad's though.
I've never
I would
even
say
heard any of
modify that
those.
one.
No,
Well, you don't like Mr. Toad
Okay, that's the thing. Mr. Toad's out. Absolutely.
over the Little Mermaid.
I know it's a hard choice. Well, that's because I feel like you could fix Little Mermaid. That's what I was just saying. You could revamp Little Mermaid, and its footprint is so big,
Oh, it's
right?
massive,
It's
yeah.
huge. You have the option to take that ride to the next level, put better animatronics in it, change up the storyline, like give us a new story. Just give us a whole new story, and I would be happy. Like, I think that would be 100% better.
Sure.
And you could keep it the slow ride because it's just like it's the same type of attraction, kind of like Haunted Mansion, right? Like you sit in, you have your little clamshell situation going on. So you can actually modify that, and it could be spectacular.
It could
and you
be.
have the ability to do it. But I would modify that one. I would definitely get rid of Mr. Toad's. Mr. Toad's creeps me out. To be honest, it creeps me out. When I was a kid, I read through the story. I read through Mr. Toad's. It's based on a book. I read it. It's not super great. It's not my favorite story. And the kids freak out at the end. They're like, what is that? Like, are we and I'm like, oh, I have to explain to my child, like, we're going through HE double hockey sticks, guys. Like, that's where we're going. And I was like, this is weird and creepy. You can 100% get rid of that one and put a better dark ride in, I think. And then you would keep Dumbo. You would keep Dumbo at that point.
And that scenario. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you keep Dumbo.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Well, that will wrap up the news and the randomizer. 101 is, of course, dark today. So that brings us to the feature presentation.
And now for our feature presentation.
Okay, so now our feature presentation here. Aaron and Karina are going to talk about, a recent trip report. Yeah, and talk about how it was at the parks. And then we have a special gift for them at the very end. Yeah, you guys want to talk about it? When did you guys go?
We went twice.
June. I think it was June, like the beginning of
End of
beginning or
June.
end of June, and then we went in October, or end of September, beginning of October. So we were there for the Halloween party and everything like that.
Oogie Boogie.
Yeah.
Oogie Boogie Bash.
Okay.
Yeah.
So October was the most recent time.
Yeah.
Okay. What were your thoughts then? How did it all go out for you guys?
The first thing that comes to my mind is very expensive. So we were lucky so we have two kids, right? Our oldest is 5 now. He was 4 right before that, a couple weeks before, because his birthday's in October. So we treated this as like birthday trip, but also like selfishly, I wanted to go during Halloween time because it's like my favorite. And then our youngest is about to turn 2. So like we didn't have to pay for him in terms of tickets, but we did have to pay for the kids' tickets. Now, first gripe, don't understand why the children's ticket is like only $5 cheaper. What's the point? I feel like it's an insult personally to parents to I'd be like, fine. I would be more okay with it if you just kept all of the price, like the ticket's the same then. Like if it's like above 3, right? Like above 3, you all pay the same price because the $5 thing feels like a slap in the face. It doesn't make a difference to me, but fine.
I wonder actually financially why there's a price difference.
I don't know. What does it sorry, but I feel like it's just a tangent. But it's the expense of it coming from like a family of 4 now. Mm-hmm. It's so much more money than it was before.
I guess that would
with
be
inflation.
The tagline of our trip report was, "We're not planning to go back anytime soon."
I wouldn't say if we could. We always say that we're like, okay, we won't. We'll wait a couple years, something like that, and then we get the itch.
Last episode of you want to go to Oregon or Texas or Tennessee or we'd rather spend our money elsewhere because it would go further elsewhere.
It would go a lot further. We and we've talked about how we want to travel, and we got our passports now. Finally, that was a whole mess during the pandemic, but we finally got them. And we're like, we want the kids to be able to see different things. And so as much as I love Disneyland, and I would say pre-pandemic, we could have been like, oh, you know what? We felt like as the prices were increasing in things, it was still worth it to be able to go every year, even for like a short trip. I was like, we could do this. We could manage it. Now it's just so incredibly expensive. It could take up your whole vacation budget for an entire year, even with just 2 kids, and even only having to pay the ticket for the one kid. The food was so expensive. We did do the Genie Plus while we were there, and we tried not to do it for the first day because we were like, okay, let's just kind of chill with the kids. You can't be running around anyways between rides because it's just too much. It's too hard. They don't get to really enjoy it, and it's already overwhelming for them. So the first day we decided we're not going to do Genie Plus. But for the second and third day, we're like, okay, we're going to do it so that we can ride the rides that we want to ride.
What made you decide to do that then?
There were the lines. It's incredibly crowded nowadays. Like I get it. People are coming out of the pandemic and they're like, I just want to go so badly. And I was like, yes, we do too. Obviously that's why we're here. But the lines are so long. You can't. And to be honest, before the pandemic, we would fully utilize FastPass.
Oh, yes.
100%. It was so much easier. And when you have little kids. We
even did the Max Pass when that was a thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Max Pass was like the earlier version of what Genie Plus was, right? Like
correct.
It was $20 or something. Yeah. Which was great because then wasn't it like you can even re-ride rides too? Like you had like 2 at the time, and then like once like the window popped open, then you can get another one, and you could even go back and forth between the rides. Like you could re-ride one of those rides.
Yeah.
Over again, but you can't do that with Genie Plus anymore, right? Like you can only use it one time during the day, and if you missed your time slot, that's it. So if I wanted to go ride soaring in the morning,
didn't we have that problem with one of the rides where you guys almost didn't get to ride it
because we almost missed it, and I was like, we can't actually reserve again for that particular ride, and I was like, what a bummer. Maybe it was Rise. Rise was the whole thing too, but anyway, so
Rise, you have to pay extra.
We paid for Genie Plus, and it was like an extra $20-$25 per person. I can't remember.
Did you on the first day? Did you notice? So it sounds like the first day you went on standby. Did you notice you guys were getting screwed out of getting onto rides in a decent amount of time because you didn't have Lightning or Genie Plus?
I thought we bought it every day.
No, we didn't. The first day I wanted to see how it went, and I just wanted to focus on kids' rides. That's what I remember.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't want to spend it because it's $60 a day. I'm already spending...
times 4, yeah.
Right, times 3. Times 3.
Oh, times 3.
Because, so it's $20 each, so that's $60 per person. If you do it for 3 days, it's $180. So it's like... That is when you're like feeding a family there and everything else you got going on.
You don't need that.
I was like, I'm not going to spend that kind of money. And I think what might help us too, and maybe this kind of relieves some of it, is that we do the parent swap, rider swap, right? So one person could stand in the standby lane, and they go up, right? And they have you scan the ticket, and you say, we need a rider swap, and then they'll get however many. I can't remember if it's up to 3 tickets or something they can scan at a time. And then once they come back out, then you can basically jump in the fast pass lane, right, to get on the ride. And that helped a little bit because it's absolutely necessary with kids. And that was one of the reasons why we got Genie Plus the second day, because if there were any rides that like our oldest could ride on finally, because it was just tall enough, we're like, I can't stand in that line for like an hour or like even 45 minutes with a 5-year-old because he's squirmish, he's crazy. Like
one of the time, I can't remember what trip it was, whether it was June or October.
I think it was October.
Because we went with our friends, and they have kids that are, their oldest is about to turn 6, and then their youngest is a couple of months younger than our youngest. So me
like
and my
18
buddy,
months.
our oldest and his oldest, were standing in line for Buzz Lightyear in Disneyland for 45 minutes, I think.
Wow.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
For Buzz Lightyear.
To be clear,
And they were
Yeah.
done. They were like, we don't want to wait in this line. It was just a bad experience.
to be clear, when we
But to wait
looked,
45 minutes for Buzz is ridiculous.
it was a 5-minute time on the app when we looked, and I said,
Yeah.
absolutely, you guys go do that.
Yeah.
We're going to just sit here with the littles.
Everyone must have saw that it was a 5-minute
And
wait.
everyone
ran
just
right over
rushed
there.
it, and so then they were standing for 45 minutes. I was like, "What's
But I
taking
think
them
that
so
was
long?"
one of the rides that I do feel like we got screwed over by the Lightning Lane
Mm-hmm.
because they'd let a bunch of
Yes.
people in,
Yep.
and then we were standing there. So I think that made the 45-minute wait right there.
Yeah. I feel like most of the rides that I did get a chance to ride on, I didn't do a lot of the standby because I always would elect to be the second parent. So I would get to go in through the fast pass lane, and then same thing with the Genie Plus. Then I was riding most of the ones with the Genie Plus lane. I feel like the one that kind of moved the quickest in standby was actually the Spider-Man ride,
Okay.
and that one's usually a really long wait
Yeah.
in
It's not worth
DCA. What?
It's not worth
Okay,
it.
to be honest, I loved it. He's just saying that because he lost every single time, and
Oh.
I won. I was the best at it every time we went on the ride. It was super fun. The kids really loved it. There was no height requirements,
Sure.
so even
Yeah.
our 18-month-old at the time, he could ride it. So he had his little glasses on. Of course, he didn't know what was going on, but he's like super into Spider-Man. That one was a good one. But anyways, and like going back to like Genie Plus. Was it worth it? Well, yeah, because you can't really ride most of the stuff unless you have like the fast pass. Like to get the full enjoyment out of it and not be standing in line for like hours on end, you're gonna need to get it, and that sucks because you have to factor that into your budget. That you're gonna spend $20 a person. Which didn't they up the price? I thought they upped the price recently.
Didn't they up it?
Yep,
And they
okay.
they made it to where day of it's $25.
That's
Yeah,
right.
It fluctuates
no,
or
that's
something like
exactly.
that.
My mom was in the
Yeah.
park a week ago, and that's what it was. And I picked her up from the airport, and I was just like, "Hey, how'd it go?" Blah 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 blah. And she goes, "I got the Genie Plus." I'm like, "Uh huh." And she's like, "It was a total flop." Because and a lot of it had to do with the ride selection on there, what you can and can't ride with it, and then I'm like, okay, it makes sense. And then the other part for her was figuring out how it actually worked, and I was kind of like, okay. And then I went. Two things. One, well, that was one major thing. I'm like, why didn't you call me? I'm like, I literally I spent half my drive home going like, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you
Like
call
parts
me?
in
Why
Genie
didn't you
Plus,
call
two
me?
things Judy likes.
Anyway, so and that was the thing. So I paid $25 and blah blah blah. And we barely used it like one or two times. She's like, it was
Right.
complete. I go, yeah, because they don't. If you don't go and know, like we, and that's why I told them, like people that we talk to, we know how that operates. So it's easier for us just to maneuver within that because we already know.
Yeah.
Imagine a person who doesn't know, like my mom, pays the money because it's supposed to help you, and then it took her till like half her day to finally like, oh, this is how this thing works. And I'm thinking to myself, they don't do a good job in promoting it. Well, they do a good job in promoting it. They don't do a good job in explaining how it works and why it's supposed to work. So, yeah, I mean, for you, I get that. And then for me, even for me, because when we went with my family, like we talked about it, my brother was like, that was a good money well spent because we had 1, 2, 3, 12, at that point, a 13-year-old, a 7-year-old, and an 8-year-old. So to have them be able to move through it much more quickly, I get that. So I get that as a parent, like it helps for that. But for the average, like for me, I'm kind of like, and that's how we know. And it is $25 day of.
Yeah, because
you had to pay.
Okay.
Yeah, and I going back to the ride selection, that was a big part too. That kind of was just really disappointing because I don't even think I got to ride Radiator Springs Racers.
No,
Every
'cause we ended up
time-
in the standby line as the
For-
park closed.
You
there,
guys were
and we
standing in the line
for it.
because our oldest had never ridden it and he loves cars, and I'm like, oh my
Okay.
gosh, she has to go on it.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be so awesome. And so I'm like, you know what, just go wait in line. And it took way longer. I think that we were looking at standby line, like, and it was like, it doesn't look that bad. Go. And then they were there for like a good hour and a half or something,
No, I
right?
think it was like an hour. It wasn't
An hour?
It was a lot shorter than it
That's-
said though, because I think it said like 120 minutes, but it was really only like 90 minutes. Or
Okay,
like 60
so it was
minutes.
better. So that's good.
Yeah.
But so that they rode that, and I was hoping that like we would be able to jump in early in the day and get on it really fast because I love that ride too.
Sure.
And I never got to do that because every
But
time
isn't-
the
isn't
standby line
Radiator
was
Springs, don't you have to pay extra for
That's
that
what I
one?
was gonna say.
Yeah.
So you either have to try to get on there at a time when not everybody else is already on there, which is nearly impossible, or you have to pay. When we were there, $20 a person to get the fast pass
For Radiator Springs?
for Radiator Springs. $20 on top of the Disney Plus the Genie Plus that you're already
Oh, the
paying
Lightning
for,
Lane
right?
thing, yeah.
Lightning
the
Lane,
the Lightning
yeah.
Lane $20 thing you're already paying for on top of it, and I was like, I'm not going to pay $20 for that.
No, absolutely not.
The Genie Plus is money well spent, but it's money you shouldn't have to spend.
You shouldn't have to spend for it. You
There you
should just
go.
be able to just pull a ticket, and then you got your fast pass, and nobody complained about it, and everything was jolly and great. And so it's like it's such a
Yes.
frustrating thing because then I'm like, that's where I'm saying like how expensive it is now.
It just slowly
It's just-
adds up, and you're slowly pushing
and
more
we're like,
people out.
ooh, we can't afford to do this as often as we really want
Do you have
to,
one?
and.
I know.
Do you still have your one of
Oh,
the
yeah.
fast passes
That's
in your
awesome.
thing?
Hold on.
Like 30 years from now, you'll be able to sell that like a ticket book.
Oh my god!
So for everybody who doesn't know, Mark and we've talked about it on the show before. Mark keeps in his wallet. What are they, Karina? Which
I don't know.
fast
With
passes
Space
for which
Mountain, Soarin', Indiana Jones, and Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
So
See, if they would just go back to that, get rid of reservations,
Oh
their
my
attendance
gosh.
would soar.
Soarin'. They would be
So
soaring.
not
Like
only
soaring.
not only would it soar. Okay, the other thing is like the attendance, the level of happiness and approval of the park would go through the roof.
Absolutely.
Well, as like on a side tangent, but still related, if I was an Imagineer at Disneyland, I think I would be offended by the Genie Plus because everyone's walking around.
No.
Gotta make
They're
plans, gotta make plans.
constantly
when
on
all
their
of this stuff is
phone.
around you that they're creating and you're not even paying attention to.
That was another part of the discussion with my mom in the ride back from the airport was they're pushing everybody to a phone, and it is taken away from the experience. It really, really is. Like, I mean, kids already as it is. I mean, I have to deal with my nephews who are both very active into video games and everything, and I'm looking at them going, anybody want to go ride a bike with me? Like, can I pull you away from that long enough? And then if I'm going to go, that was the beauty about Disneyland. When we went last year, was for the 2 days, I actually pulled them away, and they don't have phones. And so I handled the phone, but my phone was in my pocket unless I was going to take a picture or we did something with the app.
Yeah.
And then it went away. So, yeah, it's pushing way too many people into their own little pocketed screen.
Yeah.
And it takes away from the park. You're absolutely right. Like, as an
Absolutely.
Imagineer, you go through the painstaking detail that you do. Smells, looks, I mean, how you perceive it. I mean, all the things that they just go into all that detail for. And then, like, somebody walks down, they're looking in their phone. I would have been like, give me a break. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Take it for granted.
Yeah, so I compare it a lot to when we went to Disney World. How many years ago?
2014?
Oh my gosh, it's been so long. So it's been 8 years, right? So in Disney World, it's so interesting to watch the transition with Disneyland versus Disney World. Because back in Disney World when we went, they had the magic bands, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Already, that was like very
Which
much
is a
set.
sore subject.
And they're very reservation oriented with like even with the
Just
fast
for the
pass and everything.
restaurant. Well, yeah, the fast
You could
passes
do
and the
it
restaurants.
on your phone. Remember, like you could do everything ahead of time, and you were expected to actually pick your fast passes ahead of time for each of your parks. And I found it very frustrating at the time because we were like, now we're kind of like set and we're locked in, and now we have to like And like
But
you could
even then, I would
only
give,
get
like,
3 of them at a
anything
time.
to go
and-
back to that time.
No, I
like,
know. I
where it
understand
was
that.
that simple.
But what I'm saying is like it was even more simple at Disneyland because it was like pull a fast pass ticket. You knew what the time was, like,
Yes.
and you could pick which rides you wanted, and it was easier. And now it's this very complicated system. And you're right, like even I had a hard time sometimes like navigating. I was like, why is this so difficult? Like Genie Plus would give me these recommendations. Like I don't want recommendations.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to get a fast pass for this particular thing. Like it would be nice if I could even just like say that into the phone and the app could pick it up and figure out what I need. Because I spent so much time doing that. And usually there was like one person that was like kind of centrally tackling it. But then you just constantly are feeling like I need to make another
Well, yeah,
reservation or
you're
I'm going to
in
miss
line
out.
for
I'm gonna
one
miss out,
ride,
I'm gonna
sitting
miss
on your
out.
phone, trying to figure out the next ride you're going to go on
Yes.
based on your fast pass or
And
whatever.
that was the thing about the lightning pass thing. They could run out. So like if it's a really popular ride, they could run out anyways. And then it's like you paid the $20 for nothing if you didn't actually get the,
Yep.
So you have to do it ahead of time. You have to plan it. So that was like one of my biggest pet peeves is I just want to go back to the old system. I think most people do. I just want regular fast pass again. Like stop complicating it. And it's just way too expensive. I was like, this is incredibly expensive. I feel like the necessity to do it in order to ride the things I want to ride. And I don't like that. But we chose to do it anyways, right?
Okay.
Like,
Did you have any
went.
trouble with like mobile ordering for food or?
No, actually, mobile ordering was great.
Okay.
We did do it a couple of times, and I don't think we had any problem with it. The food was made really fast. It was fresh. It was hot. I actually really liked that better. It didn't feel like things were just getting cold, and I feel like it made it a lot more efficient.
Okay.
So that was really good. So the food thing wasn't really a problem at all.
I still feel like a grumpy old man with like the mobile ordering though, because I think it's just
He's just not used to it yet. I think
just
once you
silly.
get
It's
used to
just
it,
more
it
being
sounds
on
silly.
your phone.
I
It sounds
know.
silly, but actually the mobile ordering was far easier than dealing with like the attractions and like trying to like figure out reservations. It was simple as it even had like it was if they could do that for like what Genie Plus and stuff is with the
I
lightning
think
lane,
they just need to
it'd be a lot
fine
better.
tune it a little bit more because it's like I'm ordering this food, I'm gonna walk up to you, and then I'm gonna tell you I'm here, and then you're gonna make my food. It's like, well, I could have just stood in line and watched you make my food, and then gotten my food.
But the lines were super long. And it was
Yeah.
nice when you have kids to be able to sit down, mobile order from wherever you were, right? And then get up and get it instead of standing in line with 2 kids. Yeah. And then look, then you're like good to go. I don't know. I found it easier.
Here's been my argument with that. Why are they making it or wanting to only make it one way? Like they're pushing everybody to the mobile ordering.
Well, yeah, because
That's the problem. That is the problem.
Smoke jumpers. You go in there. There's only one side is for people walk up, and then the other side is completely mobile order.
Yeah.
So they only had one person to take orders from people walking up.
Yeah,
when
that-
it used to be
that's
like
a
That's
problem.
true. It does make the
that's
lines
what
look
makes the
really
lines
long,
longer,
really
is
long.
because
But that
one person.
But that's why I was like, we could just mobile order it. I'm happy.
Well-
I'll sit down on
Well,
mobile
either
order
go
it and I'll
100%
stand up and get
one
the
way,
food.
or
Yeah, and
Yeah.
again, my point
Yeah.
is like, why? I mean, the only reason why
Yeah.
you need to go to mobile order 100% is for staffing. There's no other reason to do that.
Yeah.
And so when they do that, all Disney does is they go into that whole realm of like when you go to a Walmart, right? They have 80 checkout lines, right? And
one open.
and yeah, one open. And they go like, why? You have all these checkouts. Why aren't they open? Because they're not supposed to be open. They're literally not supposed to be open. They're there for show. And that's the problem with Disney. So they need to get away with that. They can't rely on that because it is beginning to cut people out. Now, if that is the overall plan to cut people out, then, well, okay, there you go. But they can't because it negatively impacts people. It does. And not everybody is going to be tech savvy in their phone. As a culture and as a country, we've definitely leaped in that direction, but there are still going to be people who are going to be troglodyte in that way. Like, I don't want to. Like, I don't want to have to be on my phone.
I don't like to
Well,
be on my
eventually it'll
Yeah.
make Disney a place for only the niche people who
Yeah.
watch the YouTube channels, listen to the podcast.
You have to have a
You have to know how to
strategy.
Disneyland to go to Disneyland.
Yes.
And Disneyland was never designed for that. You
No.
know, because Walt's idea was Disneyland is a park for everybody. They're cutting that away with all these little things, and I see their mentality of it because it makes sense if you're looking at it through their eyes. Money, logistically figuring out all these little tangents. That's all they're doing. They're trying to refine and sharpen the business and sharpen it again and again and again and again and again. So they can, run on a razor thin margin and make as much as they can because they're already dancing that line. Mm-hmm. So I see why they're doing it. Anybody who's a corporate person who understands how businesses work can see that. But the problem is that it takes away from the overall experience, and that's the caveat to the whole thing. Is like you're going to take away and make people unhappy, and then people are going to go away.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's almost like trying to make something evolve that doesn't need to evolve.
Yeah. Like, why are you pushing it? Like, the system may be antiquated. Okay. Oh, we made this in 1955, so we got to change it.
But that's why people go.
But why? Again, my biggest complaint with everything is, and as you guys are talking, I'm like sitting there going, this is the same thing over and over again. They are trying to shoehorn Disneyland proper into what they made the rest of the resorts. Disneyland proper is different. It is just a different animal. They always have been trying over and over again to make it into what the other ones are. It's like, no, this is where it all began. Leave it alone. It ran fine before. Yeah. So that's the annoyance of it. So as we're talking, I'm like, oh man, this is such the annoying thing. Like you're doing things you don't need to do.
Well, the other thing is they keep raising the prices, getting rid of cast members, like by doing mobile ordering and making more money, but you don't see it in the parks because the attractions need refurbishment. There's just, I don't know, you're not seeing the money they're making be put back into the park is what it is.
I can say there's some positives from the trip.
I was going to just try to shift gears here. So tell us at least just one positive thing, two things positive highlights.
So the two that I'm going to pick. First one, benches.
It could be three for you.
Benches. I was actually very surprised because there's been a big complaint, I would say, over the last couple of years about them removing benches, right? Like that is a big deal, especially again, parents, right? Like we got to sit. We're tired and our kids are driving us crazy. So it's nice to have places where you can just sit down and let your kids run wild, right? Like that you can see. And I noticed, especially in DCA, where there was a lot taken out near the pier, they put back in. And I'm really happy about that because seating has always been a big problem. So I'm really happy about that. The second thing where I thought was like magical, and this actually came from the June trip, and Aaron had mentioned it earlier. When we went to Lamplight Lounge, we had reservations for lunch, like right when they first opened. And they took us down into the special secret room.
Okay. Did you ask for that?
No.
Oh,
no,
wow.
We don't know. They said it's random. They're like, we pick it randomly.
Our friends that we were with booked their stuff through a travel agent.
We did too. For that
all
trip.
of us booked through a travel agent, so we thought that might have something.
That might have been
with
it. Like maybe she had connections or something in order to like kind of bring it about, or maybe it was really random or something, or I don't know. But they take you down, and there's like a lock that the kids have to like spin in order to open the door, and then you go in, and then there's little like caricatures and artwork from all these different artists.
There's like board games to play down.
Board games, and it's like I don't know if anybody's ever seen this, but there's like a little pier. If you're on the opposite side where Incredicoaster is and you're looking at the Lamplight Lounge, if you look down towards the water, you can see like this little pier at the bottom because you can actually walk into that room. There's the tables and the booths and everything, right? The board games out. And then you walk through this door and you can walk right onto this little pier and you're out on the water.
Oh, cool.
Really?
It's so cool.
Okay, cool.
It's so cool. Aaron can show you some pictures of it. It's on there somewhere. But it was awesome. You had like your own little personal server that was like coming to you, and it was nice and quiet and secluded, and you had as much time really as you wanted in there. They never like said like you got to go kind of thing, and so you got to enjoy your drinks, you got to enjoy your food.
How was the food?
It was really good.
Okay.
We've never had a bad experience in terms of food at Lamplight.
Okay.
It's always been really
good.
View
from like the door of the room looking out.
So no one can go to that pier except through that room?
You have to go through that room.
What?
It's a special like little
awesome.
thing. It was that in that moment I was like, man, you know what? Like this is the magic we're talking about. This
That
is like
is.
the extra special thing that makes Disneyland, you know? And so that was like probably that was a good little like thing. That was like our first day on that June trip. So I'd probably be like the two big positive things that I can think of. I know it sounds really they're not. What are you gonna say? What do you say is your positives? How's it be different?
The parade at the Oogie Boogies was cool. But mainly because our son was so excited to see the parade. So that's the magic in the trip and everything. Oh, the dance party. The never-ending dance party.
Yes,
you
it
can
was
talk
so
about
good.
that.
Okay. Oh, I'll say it. I'm sorry, not to jump in, but there was one
you're
more
fine.
thing I forgot about. So during our, because we went with kids that were like aware finally, right?
Yeah.
And there was a villains dance party. It's over in
Tomorrowland.
Like I guess it's not the terrace.
Yeah.
It's a little stage that's over there. There's a stage. I didn't think it was called the terrace, but anyways, there's a little stage over there, and they have it at night, and they teach all of the kids like dance moves.
Okay.
And so like just think of like a bunch of parents standing around with little kids. The Disney villains come out, so you have like Captain Hook, you have the evil stepsisters. Did the evil queen come out? Cruella was there. A bunch of them. Anyways, I think that show was like, I don't know, 45 minutes or an hour long, which is a lot for little kids.
It is.
They had like two different
loved
VJs come in to do the dance thing.
Yes. They had like 2 or 3 different cast members doing all the different moves.
One cast member, yeah.
And like the parents were doing it with the kids, and the kids could just jam out and like absolutely have a blast. And I was like, this is what Disneyland is about. This right here.
Awesome.
And that was definitely a good positive. I was like in that interaction, the cast members were wonderful. They did such a good show. I was really happy about it. I was like, this is well worth it.
Yeah.
Okay, what was yours again? So you had one.
Oh, the
That's
parade,
it.
and then I
The
think
parade.
one other like magical moment was her and her friend were going to ride Rise, and me and my buddy were hanging out with the 4 kids, and they were playing with their bubbles in Galaxy's Edge, and they're just playing and having a good time, and we're just chilling and like
enjoying the ambiance.
Yeah,
that was
because
a
we
good
were like,
time.
my son was sitting there next to me, and the noises in the background are happening, and I'm just talking to him.
Yeah.
He's 5, so
Yeah.
we're talking about how there's creatures back there, and they're gonna get you and stuff like that, and so that was just another magical moment kind of thing.
Awesome. So would you guys get magic keys?
No, we can't afford it.
You can't, even the low tier one?
Even after like I feel like I have PTSD after getting the max. Was it called the Max Pass?
I think so.
Oh, no, it was called the Flex Pass.
Flex
yeah,
Pass.
that
Yeah,
one.
Yeah.
The Flex Pass. I think I had PTSD because I couldn't get reservations.
Oh.
And then it's hard for parents, I think, especially to take time off during the week. So like for us to be able to go down, we need the weekend dates.
Sure.
So we would need we would need the higher key levels, I think. And then when you're looking at it and you start pricing it out between the hotel and this and that, it still becomes, you look at it and you're like, okay, you know what? We could just pay for the tickets when we want to get them instead of doing an actual annual pass. And it would be cheaper for us at the end of the day. And that's true because we can't
'cause we
make
can
that
only
trip
do,
as
like,
much
1 or
anymore.
2 trips
It's going to be like
maybe
1 or
instead
2,
of
yeah,
multiple.
1 or 2 trips a year with the kids because it's so incredibly expensive. There's just no other way to do it anymore. And, you know,
Where'd you guys stay?
Castle Inn.
Oh, right across the street?
It's on West Catella, right?
It's like a half
I'm
mile
terrible with
walk.
street
Yep.
names.
That's where I stayed when I went with my family. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Not
Castle
bad.
Inn, we stay
They're
there
fun.
every single time because I can never find a better rate. They have a AAA
Oh, the rates are
rate,
great. Oh yeah.
and it's free parking.
Yep.
Oh,
I
great.
think I think we paid like $100 a night per room. We had 2 rooms, something like that.
It's
like incredibly
so
cheap. I was like, oh
affordable,
crap, yeah.
and it's not like
It's not the
like
nicest hotel in the
No.
world,
No,
but
it's
it ain't bad either.
It's older.
In Disneyland for us, it's a place to sleep as long as it's
Yeah.
safe and
Yeah.
you feel
Clean.
secure.
Yeah.
then
And clean.
Clean, yeah. That's
Yep.
all that really matters.
They always do a great job. I can't get a better rate. I haven't
Okay.
seen one.
No,
Actually, Castle
I'm
Inn,
with you.
okay.
Yeah.
Never stayed there, but I'll look it up next time.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have the question: is what happened with the cast member
Yeah,
that got
that's what I was
upset?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think you were in the bathroom when this. think it's one
Probably
of
the
those
Rancho
moments.
one, maybe.
There was there was
Must
two
not.
Oh
moments.
no, it was not at Rancho. I do not believe it.
No.
I
Oh,
had
no.
I had conflict with two different cast members actually, but the one that I was thinking of in that moment was the one that was over by Fantasyland. So, like, we have to bring strollers. We absolutely bring strollers. I recommend to everyone, even if you have a 5-year-old kid, please bring your stroller. Like, and secondly, if you're choosing between a double stroller and 2 single strollers, go with the 2 single strollers. It sounds insane, but the double stroller is an absolute nightmare. It's heavy to push, and I think it annoys people more. Because if you have 2 singles, then also you have more space to put things. Like, you can put souvenirs or food or whatever, and then you can navigate through crowds easier because one parent just takes one stroller and the other takes the other. Now, that's for 2 kids, okay? If you have more, I'm sorry. More complicated, but you have to park your strollers in the right stroller place. And we're very diligent about that. I always look for a stroller place. I don't just abandon my stroller. But it was like earlier in the day. I think we were going to It's a Small World, and there's a spot that's over by Toontown where they're parking all the strollers now.
Oh, yeah.
Like right in the front. And apparently there's like very strict like stroller etiquette about how they're supposed to be lined up.
Oh.
So like when I went to go park it, of course I'm like chasing like an almost 2-year-old like kid, and and I think you were in the bathroom. Maybe you had Quentin with you. So he was going to the bathroom over there, and the cast member that was handling the strollers, I was like, parking and everything, and I think I parked it the opposite direction is what it needed to be. Oh my gosh, like, which to me didn't seem like a big deal because no matter what, I was able to pull it out and I wouldn't be in the way of anybody. But I was like, I just parked it a certain direction, and he yelled at me.
Oh.
He yelled at me. He's like, "Ma'am, you cannot put your stroller that direction. It needs to go the other way." Like there was some instructions somewhere that I should have seen or something. And I was like so taken aback. I was like, I'm so sorry that in that moment I was like, maybe I should just not have my stroller here at all. Like, I was so upset about it. And I was like, okay. So then I fixed it. I turned it around, and you could see just like the venom coming out of this guy's eyes. And I was like, maybe he had a bad date.
Sure, you
and
never
like
know.
you never know. I always try to think, there's something else going on, and then think of the best of people. But that interaction was like very startling and surprising that I've never had that before in Disneyland. So I there were a couple other moments when we were trying to do like the parent swap. And in particular, I think there was one where I already had the swap like set up, and I think it was for the Millennium Falcon one, the Smuggler's Run. I had already had it set up. It was pretty late at night, and I was like, okay, we're gonna get on. And I think I had my oldest with me, and I was like, okay, we have the tickets here. I'm showing you my phone. And the guy kept questioning me, like, didn't you already ride this ride? Didn't you already get on here? Like, and I was like, you can see the tickets. They would disappear, if I've already done it. I was like, no, I have not been on here. And so it was just that constant like push, and it was almost like going to be like, fine, I'm not going to ride this ride. And it was so upsetting.
I'll be upset too.
And I mean, we already had, I know that the rider swap, everybody does it a little bit differently. There's not a set policy amongst cast members, so it's already difficult to navigate. But then when you're constantly questioned about it, you're just like, I'm so frustrated. I'm already frustrated with the system and having to do this. Now I have a child. I've been waiting here for over an hour as, like my husband just got off the ride. And I just hear my phone shows it. Look at my phone.
Yeah.
And so in that moment, I was, so these are interactions that I just wouldn't normally have had before.
Right.
I feel like one bad experience we had that we don't really know what happened, but we had the strollers parked, and she had like a cold brew Starbucks in the cup holder of our stroller, and we come back to our stroller after I think Space Mountain or Star Tours or something, and the drink was spilled all over the seat of the car seat or the stroller.
Whoa.
That was somebody.
So either someone knocked into it and hopefully benefited it out. Someone knocked into it and didn't realize it happened, or a cast member moved it and it knocked over. That was just one of those moments where it was the end of the day. I was tired. Kids were tired, and our stroller is covered in coffee now. And it's like,
I don't even think it was end of the day. I think it was middle of the day, and that was the biggest because we had to wipe it down. Remember?
It was dark outside though.
It was not great. That's what I remember. But that I think in that moment it was the
And
it was
drive
the
down there and June. That was fun too.
Oh, we're not going to
Different
talk about that. But
Explosive diarrhea and a car seat. Don't mix.
and yeah, children. But I think in that moment it was like someone would have really had to smack into it or do something to the stroller, and that was where I felt like the people in Disneyland there, the patrons,
the park goers,
were a lot more
a
rough
vibe that's not good lately.
this time. There's no consideration for anybody. Everyone was super like just like selfish, and I get it. Like, you're paying a lot of money to be here, so you have like, I guess, high expectations, but
Sure.
be kind to one another.
Like the amount of money people are spending on tickets now, I feel like everyone has that
Mentality.
old school
Yeah.
pass holder mentality of I deserve everything.
And that's not, I don't like saying old school past, like, because we obviously don't feel that way. Like, I don't feel entitled at all.
I'm just saying
No.
there are a lot of people
But
who,
there are a lot of
because I
people
spend
that
this much
seem
money,
to
I
feel
deserve
that way.
this much, and it's like,
and it was
no.
not great. I did not enjoy that. Other people this time around was not fun.
Okay. Well, we get the gist of that. Do we have a special gift?
Yeah.
Gift?
Yeah, hold
So
on.
first off, thank you so much for sharing some of your experience with us. I want to think it's hopefully mostly positive.
Yes, it was a really fun trip, to be honest. And Oogie Boogie Bash was absolutely wonderful. The kids had a great time.
Did you guys like Villains Grove?
Yes, that was awesome.
Yes, the kids were a little scared,
out.
but it was so much fun. On the character interactions, we got to meet with Bruno.
I think the only thing that was disappointing
We don't talk about Bruno.
the
We don't
Villains
talk about
Grove
Bruno.
was I thought there were actual villains in Villains
yeah.
Grove, and they're
Yeah,
not, which
but-
is kind of disappointing.
But other than that, it's pretty cool, right?
That is what I would go back for.
Yes.
I would absolutely go back for Oogie
Yes.
Boogie Bash every single year. It was so spectacular.
Yeah,
That was
I think
well,
if I had to choose
well
between
worth it.
going during Christmas or going during
Halloween.
Oogie Boogie's Bash every year, I would go to Oogie Boogie's over Christmas, just because
I would
there's
too.
not really,
I would too.
which is saying something because Christmas time is really awesome to go.
Oh, yeah.
to
Like
the
right
parks
now,
and-
actually
yeah.
would be spectacular at the
Yep.
park.
Yeah.
And that'd be kind of cool, but I would absolutely go right now.
And the costumes were fabulous. Everyone, it was amazing. Like the amount of effort everybody put into it, and we were all dressed up as Buzz Lightyear.
Oh,
We
yeah.
got a lot of compliments on it, and the kids loved it, and the characters were like super into it. It was wonderful. Absolutely, 100% recommend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, to wrap this up, Udi, why don't you take it from here?
Okay, so we had a contest. I don't even know. It's been a little bit ago, and was it 3 questions, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So we were giving away a sign when we had Jason from Interactive Realm on, and he had the idea of giving a sign away with 3 questions. Do you remember the 3 questions, Aaron?
I do not, but I listened
Okay.
to that episode twice.
Yeah. So the 3 questions were, now I got to remember, how is Jason connected to the show? What were Jason's Mount Everest? And what was the first sign that Jason made? So we had a few people come really, really close. A lot of 2 out of 3s. And you're the only one who got 3 out of 3. So do you remember the answers? You don't remember okay, so I honestly don't remember Jason's Mount Everest. I don't.
No.
I'm trying to remember, and I can't.
Well, I think one of them was
Big Thunder,
Big
right?
Big Thunder was
yeah.
one.
One
I
of
think
them.
Pirates was another one.
And then maybe
Jason, don't get
Space.
mad. I'll get a text from Jason like you were wrong. So then the other one was his first sign he made for Maya, which ties into the first. The answer to the first question was how did we get connected? Was through a friend Christy, who's his roommate. So Christy's daughter is Maya. That's who made the first sign, and we actually have on his YouTube. Mark and I were on there last week.
Yeah.
On his YouTube channel talking about a few different things and what we would do with the park. So you guys can go check that out. It's on Interactive Realms YouTube channel.
Yeah, we were on there. It's a good show.
It was a good show, yeah. And then we talked a little bit about how he started in Christie and the whole thing and the signs. And so it all kind of ties into this. So since you're the winner, you were given the prize of a sign. So I have it here.
Do you guys know what it is at all?
it's a pirate sign, isn't it?
I don't know.
Did
We
you
were
bring
making
your,
guesses.
Did you bring your knife? I don't have my
do not
knife.
have a knife.
Okay, hold on.
So I'm going to try to
It's a
describe
pizza.
this as best as possible. This is an exaggerated pizza box.
Is it a Planet Pizza sign?
It's a rectangle. It isn't a square. It is definitely a rectangle. I would imagine that would be a pretty good pizza. Yeah. So I don't know, but it's in a big one. But it's taped up because this came all the way from Arizona. Special delivery. Okay, so
Don't
now,
mess it up.
No mess it up. So what is it, and where are you gonna put it? And we don't know.
We have. I'm starting to run out of space from all the Disney stuff we have in our house. It's funny when people come in because they're like, "You guys really like Disney, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, we do."
We do.
I think I have a spot. It might be in the dining room. That's where I was thinking.
Yeah, 'cause
Okay.
she's
It
depends on the theme, though.
themes
It depends on the
for
theme.
stuff.
It could be Dumbo.
Oh gosh.
It could
What
be
if it was
Mr.
Mr. Toad?
Oh my gosh.
It's Mr. Toad. No.
That would be
What?
horrible.
What is that?
Oh yeah. That's awesome.
Yes.
So
I
it is
love
a
it.
Pirates of the Caribbean wood sign, and it is it's black with the font is not colored in, so it's actually it's kind of clear.
The wood grain. Yep.
Yeah, so wood grain, and the edges are just look like they're worn. It looks spectacular.
It looks absolutely beautiful.
How's it
I can
smell,
put it up.
Aaron? Does it smell like it's full of
Yes,
lacquer?
sniff
It's all
it.
woody.
Yeah.
Does it smell like it's full of lacquer and stuff?
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. I love that because mine is the same way, the one he made for the show, and it's like it just smells good. Dude does some great work.
Man.
Aged it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's about looks like
Apparently, I've got one coming.
we both do.
Oh, we do. Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to say it's what is that about 20 inches wide?
It's pretty big.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 feet. No, not 2 feet. About 20 inches wide,
Yep.
Yeah.
and maybe at as widest point, good 11 or.
A little bit more than that.
Okay, it's man, how much did you sell these things for?
I have no idea.
Probably a couple hundred, right?
I don't know.
I mean, if you were to see that at the park, that would be pretty.
150.
Probably.
I would estimate 150.
Yeah.
Oh, is there something else in there? There's an envelope
There's
in there.
another bag in there. Envelope, yeah. Have you seen the Jungle Cruise one he does? That's really cool too.
That may be the one I'm getting. I think that may be the one I'm getting.
I love pirates
Yes.
so much.
There's nothing in there. Okay, so yeah, that's what it is. We'll have to get a picture and we're gonna put it on the show with you guys. All right. Well,
today
thank
after
you so much for sharing that, and congratulations on winning.
Yeah,
such
congrats.
a cool
Thank you.
prize.
Thank you for participating.
Yeah. This is going to wrap up episode number 164. It's been a good show.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoyed my time with you guys, as always, and we
Yeah,
have to
thank
do
you.
this again
Yes,
sooner
thank you
than
for the invite.
sooner than
Yeah.
3 years or
Yeah,
whatever.
we're gonna have to get back to trivia though. That's what we need to get.
Oh, we
I
need-
know,
again.
finally.
We need to find another
Yeah.
trivia.
Yep.
Because that was a good month-long run, and we were.
It was a couple of months.
Oh, at the Brickyard or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
We were smashing people.
We're doing
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that are they doing that again?
They have been, but it's been weird.
Oh,
And Joey's been hosting them too, so we need to find one that he's
That's
hosting.
right.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we could get some answers.
yes. We can get some answers. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. You know what? I had some stuff in the works with Steve's Pizza. Well, I'm gonna try to flesh that out.
Yep.
Okay. Anyways, that's one other story.
Yep.
All right, so that's gonna wrap up this show. Episode 164 becoming this one. Or sorry, episode 165 will be coming up shortly after this. But thank you again for listening to the show. If you want to find out more, you can follow us on Instagram at Leaving Today Podcast. We have a link tree on there with our website, T-shirts, and everything else is on there. Patreon is on there as well. Again, we make that super, super simple. If you want to be part of the LTP family, you can do that. What else? Udi, where can you be found?
You can find me on my other podcast, The Mando Show. We finished our Andor wrap-up, and we are now going to do a special episode of where we are, year-end coming up, and then we're going to go into Mandalorian, because Season 3 is coming. So then we'll go into that.
And I saw a Bad Batch trailer not too long ago.
Yeah, Bad Batch we will be covering because it actually looks good. I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
That looks pretty good.
What was the one with Ahsoka and Count Dooku?
That was Jedi Tales. That was
guys
Tale
talk
of
about
Jedi. That
that
was
or no?
really good. We talked about it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that was amazingly good. That was really, really, really good.
I'm not up to date on my Star Wars stuff.
Oh, yeah, no, that go watch that. That was amazingly well done. It was so good. And then you can find me on my Instagram, which is Haxgoalie, HAXGOALIE. And then you can actually find me on my Twitter because, thank you, Elon, I'm coming back. So there we go.
What is your Twitter handle? The same?
Same thing.
Okay.
Yep. I'm found across the board with that one.
Okay.
Yep.
And if you choose to be found, where can people find you?
I am at Sarcastic Eeyore on Instagram. And
Sarcastic Eeyore.
I love that. I love that handle, dude. I saw you change it. I'm like, yes.
There's
I
a
love
whole
that. Yeah.
story because everyone as a kid always said Aaron was
My
Eeyore.
sister mainly calls me Eeyore, yeah.
Eeyore. But it took him a long time to land on that one. We had a lot of brainstorming going on. And then I can be found on Instagram at We Disney We Go. We_Disney_we_go. So.
Okay, awesome. So thank you so much for taking time, listeners out there, whether you're driving or at work or whatever it is you're doing. If we helped you get through your day, that's awesome. If we made you laugh, that's great. If we made you upset, it's even better.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, but do reach out to us, and you can anytime. We are very accessible.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you so much for listening to us. We love you. Adventures out there, and we will see you in the parks.
See ya.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Disneyland is now ended its normal operating day. We hope you enjoyed your visit to the Magic Kingdom and that the memories you've made will bring you back again soon.
Somebody take these. How many of these?
Mark.
No.
They're going in the trash.
Mark.
That's a cool box, I'm not
Yeah.
going to lie.
Your daddy hates me. Too bad you guys aren't sticking around for tacos after this. I have a full rack of ribs in the fridge. I'm ready. I got lasagna in the fridge.
In the fridge.
Yeah, I
Yep.
haven't made it yet. It's.
Oh, you have to cook it?
I have to cook it.
That takes like 4 hours.
Let's get going because I got tacos waiting for me.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
going. Am I coming over or no?
No,
Right.
put your phone away from your stuff.
Kitty.
It's like a breath of fresh air.
Boy, was my face